Some of the content of Patriots Unfiltered may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
The world's original podcast.
Welcome to Patriots Unfiltered.
As much has been written about the Patriots dynasty and the docket, there's still a lot to be written.
Are you going to write it?
This fan base has become insane, and you're the last place that's attempting to inject some sane, rational opinions.
I've never been described that way.
There you go.
I'm as insane as they come.
Rather a warm day out there.
Unseasonably
like
warm.
76
He
degrees
hates the
out
weather.
there.
Evan
Don't get him
doesn't like
going.
that.
He doesn't like the weather.
Yeah.
He hates.
I don't
hates-
like people that I just got to be outside today.
No.
Just relax.
Be inside,
Relax.
grinding the
Well,
film.
when it's too sunny, you can't see the all 22 screen.
Right.
We're all happy it's warm out.
Yeah.
Relax, Mother Nature.
What if Drake Maye was drafted to the 2021 Patriots?
I think we'd be talking about, where the AFC Championship is going to be played.
Kansas City or Buffalo?
No.
This is Patriots Unfiltered.
Presented by Toyota's official website for deals, buyatoyota.com.
All right, welcome to Patriots Unfiltered. It is Thursday here at Gillette Stadium. Talking Patriots for the next couple hours. Paul's here. Deuce will be here. Evan will be here. Alex will not be here. She
has sent her pics.
Yeah, feeling a little under the weather today.
She gave me some strict instructions to make sure I wash my hands.
Oh, yeah, why?
She said it's very important for your health.
Oh, she got something she thinks she
I
picked
don't
up from,
I don't know. That's
Yeah.
what she said.
yeah?
Not feeling great.
Well, tell
I
her
want
not
to make sure I wash my hands.
Tell her not to touch dirty things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
All right.
All right. I do have her pics. She
Yeah,
sent her pics in.
So she's all set. She's got her picks in. Just, how was last week? Just real high level.
Okay.
Okay. Still okay.
Not like the 13-1 that Evan and I put
Right.
up the week before, but
Okay.
everybody
Okay.
did okay.
Okay. All right, we'll get to that
You maintain
later.
your lead with the spread.
Okay, well, that's good. We'll have to get to that later. We'll have to hurry. But we're still talking about the state of this team, obviously, and we're going to be doing that until the end of the season, I would assume. The coordinators talked today,
They did.
DeMarcus Covington and Alex Van Pelt.
Yeah.
And
I like some of the stuff I heard from Van Pelt. I don't know how. Did you listen to both?
I think that of everyone that gets in front of the microphone right now from leadership of the Patriots, I think Van Pelt is probably the most straightforward of all of them, right? Yeah.
I was walking back with Evan and Tamara and Mike, and I just looked like. I just said, I think he does a better job of being the head coach than that, which probably isn't all that surprising.
Yeah.
Because of his level of experience as
Right.
compared to Jerod Mayo.
Right.
He's probably a little bit more comfortable, with what things are going on. Now, obviously, he's not thrilled with the state of the offense, the state of the team, 1-6, all of that stuff. But, he was asked a couple of questions about the wide receivers sort of popping off a little bit. And, it's like, yeah, no, we've discussed this. And, what I would say is we need to keep these things inward.
Do a better job of
keeping it internal.
Right.
And that's, I think, what you want to hear. Not like, we're expressing ourselves and whatnot. No, like, I get it. You're trying to be a little bit different in terms of, what you're allowing, the latitude you're giving the players. But when you have problems in that regard, and some of those problems were from Mayo himself, I think you got to button it up a little bit. And
Yeah.
I like the way that Van Pelt really some strong praise for Drake Maye, which I'm sure fans are excited to hear.
Yeah. So we talked about yesterday, something's going right with him. I know it's only been 2 games, but, who should get the credit for that? Who's been working with him most closely? Is it Alex Van Pelt? Is it Ben McAdoo? But whoever it is, maybe it's both of them. So far, it looks positive.
You see progress.
Yeah.
You see, and he talked about one of the specific comments that Van Pelt made was that he felt that Maye did a really good job of seeing the field on Sunday, in London. So, yeah, I think that's a great sign for a young quarterback in his second start to be seeing the field well, according to a guy who's been in the league for over 20 years.
And like I said yesterday, now I look forward to this game because I think this is a bigger test for Drake Maye. I think it's a better offense certainly than they faced last week.
Better defense.
Better defense, I'm sorry. And they gave the Patriots quarterbacks problems the first time that they played them. and we'll see.
Alex talked a little bit about that, too.
Yeah.
Some of the things he felt like he put Brissett in some bad spots in that game and didn't want to get into specifics of like game plan and scheme and whatnot. But I think he feels like he didn't put the offense in the best position to succeed that night.
Yeah, so I'm from that perspective, I'm looking forward to this game.
Yeah, I mean, I do think it's any time you have a chance to sort of evaluate and observe Drake Maye, I think that's worth that game.
Worth tuning in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what we're looking for. We're looking for progress every week. So I would agree with you. I think it's kind of a good test to see. I mean, we'll see who ends up playing for the Jets. They had a lot of guys on their injury report yesterday, too. Patriots had more guys listed as DNP than we thought, you know, after practice. Some of the guys that Evan did actually see didn't practice. A guy like Kayshon Boutte, as an example. Although we should point out that Stevenson was listed as a foot/personal.
Right.
So maybe that was, maybe he had something going on yesterday, and that's why he didn't practice.
Yeah.
Wasn't really about the foot.
Yeah. So we'll hear from Evan later on. He'll be coming back from practice.
Yeah, Mike will be here too. I think he wanted to pop in the locker room for a little bit, and he'll come by
Kinda
after that.
Talk to some of the fellas.
Following you a lead.
You know,
yeah.
give him a pat in the
Good
back.
for morale.
You know, yeah, sure.
Good for morale.
Sure. Especially, who's this guy?
Who's what guy? Who's?
He's not here now
Yeah, he
anymore.
has no. Yeah, his morale's.
No updates on him.
No.
Right? No, that's not looking good. I would say, I don't know. It's taking too long.
I'm gonna stay out of it
Yeah.
because I don't want to
I
get
know.
myself in any trouble. I don't have any of the information, so
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll
Anyway,
stay out. I'll show rare restraint for Paul.
Sure.
Thank you.
What was I going to say? I forgot. Oh, well, the soft thing, everyone's been chiming in on that. Christian Fourier now, and Devin McCourty was chiming in, and Tom Brady. And although Tom Brady really changed the subject when they asked him about it. He started talking about the Detroit Lions and all that stuff, and stopping the run, establishing the run. Coach Belichick said that when he would say things like that, he'd back it up with evidence in terms of, stats, which I think Jerod kind of did the same thing. He said it's about stopping the run, running the ball, and covering kicks. You know, and I'm sure he learned that from Bill Belichick.
And I just see, I have, it's funny that you bring this up, like the whole soft thing. I think you're talking, that's talking physically, if you're a physical team or not. I think for years, Kansas City was as finesse-oriented as, they're a little bit different now. Their defense is a different kind of defense right now. Last year and this year, they have a really good, stout, physical defense.
They do.
That's not necessarily true now. But I think when Mahomes started winning Super Bowls, if you go by these parameters, they were a soft team.
Yeah.
They weren't a great run team that could run the ball, stop the run, all that stuff. But they were a great team. I look at soft not as a physical thing, as a mental thing.
Right.
That team is soft. As soon as they face adversity, they wilt.
Right.
And we've seen teams like that over the years. We saw, I think there were times where those old Colts teams.
Oh, remember seeing the Chargers when they came in here?
Oh, the Chargers, the pitcher of LT on the bench was sort of, that kind of an illustration. But I think of those Manning teams, 03, 04, when they came in here, they would have a good game plan. They'd go right down the field, and Manning throws a pick in the end zone. Game's over.
Right.
Because they were soft.
Right.
I don't think they were soft because they couldn't stop the run and run the ball.
No, right.
They were soft mentally.
Yeah.
And now Bill would argue, and he'd be right, well, they went hand in hand because those teams really weren't great stopping the run. They could run the ball with Edgerrin James, but they weren't great stopping the run. They weren't overly physical. They had Freeney and Mathis on the edges. They were more smaller speed-oriented defensive ends that you could run on because you would get them up the field and Bill would run right by him with Corey Dillon.
Yeah.
So I think to me it's 6-1, half dozen the other, but I look at it more as
Falcons?
As a mental thing, know. Yeah, that Falcons team was tough, but not when all of a sudden when the tables turned and they couldn't shut it off, they didn't have anything to respond with.
But it's so funny because you go back.
That was a physical team.
You go back through the dynasty years, and for the Patriots, they were a tough mental team, not just because they could run the ball, stop the run. They really weren't that great a running team, but
early on?
Early on with Dylan,
that's-
but later on they weren't that great a running team.
Afterward, yeah.
But they had guys, whether it was Brewski or Vrabel or Harrison, they would come up and make plays in the biggest moments. Like mentally, they were so focused and so prepared from a situational football thing. Like,
I agree.
You know,
I always
like-
felt that was the differentiation between them and other great teams at the time.
Yes.
Was they were so tough, mentally tough.
like and they're so aware of the situation, and if you're aware of the situation, you're able to act more instinctively, you know. And I think that's where the Patriots had the edge on so many teams during that time.
Yeah,
you know,
it's a good point. And you know, I think we're talking semantics, like you and I often argue about, you know, the word choices and whatnot. But I think the biggest problem right now is the team mentality itself. And I think you heard a little of that from Van Pelt today.
Yeah.
You know, he was asked about specifically the work ethic, you know, of the wide receiver room. And he's like, yeah, no, we had a meeting about that this morning. And, you know, just sort of everybody doing what they need to do to be ready to play in the game. Like, none of this is going to get fixed until they win. You know, if they can win Sunday over the Jets, then at least you can take a step toward having some kind of positivity heading into the following week. But I do think that's part of it, is that you can talk about being physical on the line of scrimmage and run the ball, stop the run. Those things are obviously important, but I think the far bigger issues are, and the far more troubling issues are, what we're hearing off the field.
Yes.
You know, when Kendrick Bourne is talking about the wide receivers not being ready to play on Sunday.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know who he's talking about. And, you know, some people say it had nothing to do with London. Some people say he was talking specifically about someone else.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It's a mindset that's permeating the team right now of, you know, even Alex Van Pelt talk about how well Boutte's playing right now. And he goes, and this is the second time he's done this in like the last 3 or 4 weeks, talking about Kayshon Boutte. He goes back to, you know, he's practiced a lot better. He's putting a lot more time into it. So there was a time that he wasn't doing what he needed to do.
Right.
You know, and that's a problem. I think that's far bigger than being able to stop the run.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, 855-PATS-500 is the TPX hotline. Podcast at patriots.com is the email address. One thing, though, you know, I have an hour commute in the morning, so I get to listen to your shows.
You listen to my shows even when I'm not on them?
And it's just this cry for Mayo to be fired after 7 games. I just think it's ludicrous. And I'm not saying that things are looking good for him in terms of, you know, how he's presenting himself as the head coach, and certainly not the results.
Now, who are you hearing this from? Well, you got a nice
Patriots
this is Wembley
this
shirt
is my
on.
no, this is my UK Patriots fan club shirt.
Yeah, I like that.
They gave me that on Saturday night, so I'm proudly wearing that.
Yeah.
But like,
I just noticed it.
But you know, we make fun of all these other teams that, oh, look at,
but like,
they're
just out of
impatient.
curiosity-
They're already firing their coach.
But out of curiosity, where are you hearing that from specifically? Who's
on
calling
your
for
shows?
his jobs?
Well, they just had I just saw a lower third on NBC Sports Boston. Should the Patriots be moving on from
no,
Jerod
I know,
Mayo?
but people see that's different than advocating that he should be fired.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm hearing it on all your shows.
Okay.
On all your shows. Bertrand was strong yesterday.
Bertrand wants him fired.
He pretty much.
Yeah, I look at it that is kind of premature. I mean, you got to give him some time to sort of grow into the job.
You got to give him time. He's making mistakes. Is he making more mistakes than maybe your average first-time head coach? Maybe. But I mean, you got to give him some time here. And you know, I'm happy to get into the whole, you know, Robert Kraft choosing him without, you know, other interviews, and we can get into that as well. But
yeah, I mean, I didn't like that at the time. We talked about that.
In terms of, you know, him as the head coach, I just think, man, what are we doing? We're acting like the team's fan base that we make fun of over the last 20 years.
Well, we haven't had to worry.
We haven't
about
had
these
to do
things.
that, but as soon as we've had to, we're collapsing. We're like, we're losing it.
There's a lot of things we used to make fun of other teams for
Yeah.
that we don't get to do that about anymore.
But right. Well, we have nothing to make fun of anybody for now.
Right.
We are those teams.
Exactly.
But we don't have to act like those teams. We don't have to, go berserk after 7 games. Let's just, no one thought that this season was going to be a winning season contending for a playoff.
Yeah, but no one thought you were going to get this stuff off the field either.
No,
I mean, I shouldn't say no one. I didn't think.
Yeah,
they were gonna get this off the field. I shouldn't
but
speak for
but
other people.
it's happening, and I think we just need to just take a breath. Just take a breath.
Yeah, maybe if we didn't have so many local guys, predicting like 8 and 9 win seasons, maybe people would have been a little bit more prepared.
Oh my God, people have to make decisions for themselves. Don't be influenced by writers who aren't covering it for the sake of news. No,
What a great phrase. Writers who aren't covering it for the sake of news.
Isn't that true?
I do. I think some people. I think and Felger had a great on my show yesterday. Felger had a great rant about the Bruins. Had nothing to do with the Patriots at all.
Yeah.
It was about the Bruins. Just sort of the lament of the way all the teams are covered. I think there are too many guys that are just thrilled to be covering a pro team, and as he put it, is like instead of asking the head coach about an altercation that he had on the bench with the captain, which happened last Saturday. I actually saw that live. No one's asked about it since, and here we are the following Thursday. He goes, now all these guys want to do is get on the internet and put it up on a blog and give me a video clip of the back checking system, with. Like, I don't care about that.
Right.
And I think a lot of people don't really care about that stuff.
Yeah.
Is there something wrong with your team? And if there is, why?
Yeah.
That's why I thought Van Pelt was really refreshing to listen to today, because he sort of acknowledged, we got to button some things down. I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah.
But, keep it inward, I think, was the phrase
internal.
that he did use. Keep it internal.
Right.
And I think that's part of what's going wrong, on the field is what's starting off the field.
I agree. Loose lips sink ships.
Yeah.
Right?
So I think, but it's not even loose lips. It's attitude.
I'm not talking about leaking, but I'm just saying
it's attitude.
It's too much.
They're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, and it shows.
Yep. All right. Let's get to the TPX hotline because we do have picks.
Yeah, and it's just us two. We don't. Need to be
so we have to
yapping the whole
hurry.
time.
I don't like this starting with just 2 people, Paul.
I won't take that personally.
No offense to you personally, but I like it when we're all together. So we're gonna have to talk to maybe the football administration about changing their schedule a little bit.
You gonna do that? Are you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, I think this is a great schedule. To be honest with you.
Well, it's great overall. It is.
I mean, to be honest, I feel like I'm a little bit more connected than I have been in the recent past because I'm going to all the press conferences now.
Yeah.
A lot of times the press conferences in the old days used to be during the
but you can't go in the locker room.
No, I know.
You can't establish those relationships that are
but
so important to covering the team.
But they also, at the same time, don't really want us in the locker room anymore. So it's kind of it kind of works hand in hand.
All right, let's start with.
I don't want to go where I'm not wanted.
Let's go with Josh in Newport, Rhode Island. What's up, Josh?
Hello?
Yes, Josh.
Hey, so the thing about the Patriots salary cap, you can't expect a team to be competitive with $120 million in free cap space, right? I don't think that expectation is out there. I do think wide receivers, especially KJ Osborne, was not expecting to see that this week out of him with the trade talks and everything. But if we're looking towards the draft, do you guys like any of these receivers? I mean, I'm not very high on these receivers. You see Travis Hunter up there at the top of the list, and I'm not completely sold. He's had some character issues at Colorado. I don't see him being a number 1 wide receiver unless he's doing that full time. I mean, right now the guy's splitting snaps.
So I'm not interested in taking a wide receiver in the top 5, but Travis Hunter isn't worthy of Travis Hunter might be the best player in the draft, period. You're not sold on him as a receiver?
Not as a receiver, no. I've seen him take better snaps at cornerback.
I think he could do that, too. I mean, Travis Hunter, to me, is a very good shot of being the number 1 overall pick.
Well, I heard he's a generational player.
A lot of people have referred to him as that.
And
I'm not going
to
to pretend to be an expert. I'm not.
But
that's the way he's talked about.
I have to be honest. I'm not thinking about the draft right now. I'm focused on this season.
And in terms of cap space,
So, but
I just take umbrage of the whole. You can't
$120 million?
You can't. That's wrong. But,
right.
But you can't be competitive if you have a lot of cap space. The Niners have the most cap space in football. The Patriots are 3rd. Lions are 4th. Commanders are 5th. So I think you can have.
That's got nothing to do with it.
I think you can do both.
Yeah, that's got nothing to do with it.
So there you go. You got your wish.
Yeah. Hey, Deuce.
He had no use for me, Mike. He said, "I don't like this."
No, I did.
With just 2 of us.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to drink. I'm just going to work on my 2-liter that Matt left me.
What's going on?
Look who's back from the locker room. What was the mood? Were the players friendly? Too bad none of them look like Derrick Henry. Hey Mike, what was it like in the locker room? Hey Mike, what was it like in the locker room?
What's up, Mike?
It's nice. Hi, everybody.
That really is such a nice.
I'm here. It's pleasant.
Short, sweet,
Beautiful, dulcet
good,
tones.
just a good little ditty.
Yeah, thank you. Well, we heard from Jonathan Jones and Kendrick Bourne in the locker room, and a lot of talk about Van Pelt's meeting, a little come to Jesus meeting.
Keep it inside. Keep it inward. Right?
Excuse me. Yeah,
I really like. Sick. How long have you been sick?
I'm over my sinus.
These guys don't wash their hands.
I know.
That's the
I
problem.
do.
Did you get Alex sick? Because she's sick
I know
today.
she's sick. Matt's sick.
Yeah.
Everybody's. I know. I think I got it first, but no. I Jesus. No, I thought it was interesting, Kendrick Bourne, and really that's the room that seems like everybody's focused on and trying to focus on themselves. And, I mean, really the gist of it to me was him kind of saying these are young guys who don't really know how to be professionals yet. I mean, that was kind of the overarching vibe of Kendrick Bourne and him. He also brought up, like, NIL. He just said it's different now when guys come in. When I came in, I didn't have any money, and I had all these goals that I wanted to achieve, and that's how I said about my career. But he's like, things are different now. Kids are coming in. They already got money. They've got to understand how to be, professional football players. So
did he say anything about him, stepping up and trying to teach these guys how to be professionals?
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's what, he said he was doing. He also clarified that his comments in England were not referring to Pop. He's like, everyone took what I said as calling out Pop for that. He's like, it was not that. He said it was more general. Said that was, he understood Pop had food poisoning. That was legit. So I don't know. I mean, it's just like when you realize you've lost 6 games in a row, each week you've got like a new tactic to try to reverse the bleeding and stem the tide. And it doesn't always work. So we'll see if this week's kind of stuff works. But it certainly seems like everybody was kind of impacted by the meeting. And we heard from Jonathan Jones first, who, just gave a little bit of a perspective from a guy who was here, when the culture was established. And, you can't help but feel like whether it's injuries, whether it's the coaching turnover, this is a new team that needs to find a new identity. And trying to go back to something that was established previously here in years gone by, that it's not going to really ring true. These guys have to figure it out themselves, and it might be a little bit of a process. That was kind of my takeaway.
I agree with that. They need to figure it out for themselves, but sometimes it helps to have somebody guiding you, so that you can help to figure it out. And like we talked about yesterday, I just wonder who those people are.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that's part of the chemistry right now is like these guys have to kind of emerge. And I mean, I know we talked a little bit about Drake, like he's maybe not ready, but like this is slowly going to be his team, and he's going to start to not be happy with, guys. And everybody's talking about the receivers, saying I want the ball and yada yada yada. But I don't know. That's what has to happen. And you've got guys out, and there's a vacuum right now of leadership.
I do think that's a huge undersold part of this. We talked about it. The three of us talked about this yesterday a little bit. Like, we can be critical of everything that's going on, critical of Jerod Mayo and how he's handled certain things, and some of it's accurate. But it is remarkable how all of the veterans that he wanted to be his circle the wagon guys, almost all of them have either been hurt or taken out of the equation in some way.
Yeah.
And that's hard. Jonathan Jones is one of the few guys that, even off the top of my head, that was around. for any of, and like Andrews is not there. Like all of those guys.
It's him and Wise and I guess Cardona. So I mean, those are
and
even the only
Wise.
guys that were there.
Wise is part of that. Cardona's a long snap. I mean, it's it's even a guy like Jacoby Brissett, who I think is I think he's the consummate professional. But now he's the backup quarterback, so it's hard to lead at that spot. So now you have a 22-year-old who's sort of trying to deal with this. I mean, let's call it what it is. Kind of a young, immature group of receivers. That's hard.
That's the exact word that was brought up with.
I mean, you
immaturity.
would think that you'd in the movies, Drake May would walk in to the wide receiver meeting while they're bitching and moaning about not getting the ball. And he would rip them a new one and say, "You'll get the ball when I give it to you. When you get open, when the play is for you, or whatever." Yeah. Like he would, and then they'd be like, "Oh,
I liked."
They'd get stars in their eyes, like, "Okay, our leader."
I liked Van Pelt's answer to that though today. Like, is it hard for him? I think Phil Perry might have asked him if it's hard for a young guy, or maybe it was Giardi, and Van Pelt said, like, he's had people, bitching about not getting the ball before. This isn't the first time. Quarterbacks deal with that. In other words, he's got it.
Yeah.
I think everything about Maye is like up here.
Yeah.
Like everything that we've seen, everything we've heard, and then watching him actually, the people talk about him and watching him talk, I think everything has got to be positive from him. From the fans' point of view.
Did you have that problem at Everett High School? Guys, I'll hand the ball off to you when I want.
Can I just tell you in all seriousness, like, this is like, please don't take this. This is 1985, okay? It's not in a very minor league high school level, okay? Yes. Yeah, the answer to that is yes.
The big thing with Paul and Everett is they complained about the spin because he was a lefty.
Throw with the other. Throw with your right hand.
Throw it with the right hand.
Spin of the ball.
No, but I'm just telling you, in high school, it's more like the play was. I mean, I didn't play in one of these sophisticated spreads. When we played in high school, we ran the play, and you ran the play. Yeah, so when even the pass plays, they were basically designed to go to one person. Like, we didn't have a lot of high school quarterbacks in my day that were like reading the defense and say, "Well, the safety was down in the box, so I knew I had one-on-one on the outside." In every play, Jimmy Galante would come back and say, "Paul, I was open." Yeah. So one day, we were playing. This was like we were sophomores. We were playing in a JV game in Winthrop, and like 3 plays in a row, like 3 pass play every time. I'm open. So he was the backside end, and the ball was always supposed to go to the front side. And I just turned, I looked, he was wide open. I threw him the ball. We made about 15 yards. And the coach goes, "Why'd you throw it to him?" He goes, "He comes back to the huddle every play. He tells me he was wide open. He was open. I threw it to him." But, like, I wouldn't have done that. Like, I wouldn't have read the field and done that, only because I was so sick of listening to him bitch every play. I just said, "All right, I'll look at him."
And then he's like, "Get me again. You got me again. You got me again."
Open. No, then he dropped one later.
Oh, yeah, then you're out.
And he had
you
this.
Bradied him.
I feel like we should have.
By the way, greatest guy ever.
We should have underbed of glory days playing while Paul's.
Well, that's why I prefaced it with I don't want to hear the rocket shots.
I love it.
I'm not pretending it was real.
They're all
football.
the same receivers.
It's like a JV game in 1983.
Do you think you could go into the wide receiver room and tell that story and get?
I could tell him to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shut the.
That's right. Get in there.
Get off your phones.
And then Paul.
Get off. As Teddy Bruschi would say to Chad Ochocinco, get off your phone and get in your playbook.
Paul finishes his 5-minute fire and brimstone speech. Walks out and they're like, "Who was that?"
That's the guy that works on the website.
He does notes. He's got his notes.
All right.
That's a decent notes column. He's always talking about time management for some reason.
Next up is Austin in Illinois. What's up, Austin?
Hey, guys. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, I just want to know. I know, Paul, you do this a lot. When are we going to stop discounting wins against backup quarterbacks?
Huh? Paul doesn't discount. He does discount wins against backup quarterbacks.
I don't discount anything.
I mean, it's a league full of backups. I mean,
Huh?
you play them every other week, it seems like these days.
But Austin, it's not that.
What are we
it's
talking about?
It's no, I understand what he's saying. It's not that the win isn't important or isn't as good. It's if you're analyzing certain parts of your team, such as your defense, and you're playing against a guy who really can't complete passes, you have to take that into consideration. You have to take the context of the game into consideration. It's not like you're not excited about the win. Absolutely. I'd take a win against, I don't know, any backup quarterback right now.
All wins count.
Thanks, Austin.
All wins count.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if you
The problem is last year you weren't even winning those games.
Exactly.
What
I'm trying to say is, people seem to have gotten caught off guard by how far they've fallen, and I don't think they've been paying attention.
Right.
And the wins that they've gotten over the last 2 years have so often come in those kinds of situations.
Right.
The few wins that they've gotten, like if you go 13-4, well, that's a great record.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe you won 3 or 4 against backup quarterback. You went 13-4. They went 4-13.
Right.
And played all those games against backup quarterbacks.
You know, and the subject of backup quarterbacks comes in the context of trying to evaluate how good was the defense in 2023. And so you have to take into consideration the opponent. You know, were there injuries on their offense? That's only fair if you're going to get an accurate idea of how good your defense was.
Like, I'm not stunned that the defense has played the way it's played. I'm a little surprised that it's been so bad against the run.
Yeah.
But in terms of points, I am not, like, you guys know, like, I
It's
think
hard-
when they've played good offenses over the last 2-3 years, this is what's happened.
Yeah.
Points-wise, not rushing yards-wise.
Right.
I don't want to upset Bill Belichick. He'll get very mad at me.
Yeah, because he'll feel really bad for
Right,
the players.
he feels bad. I know he's got a lot of
yards
empathy.
per rush.
A lot of empathy.
Um,
Well, it depends. It's yards per rush last year. This year, it's yards per game. Because you have to pick the stat that makes him look the best.
Yeah.
You know,
Like last year, they finished first in average yards allowed per carry in 2023. So that's what you go by. This year, the Patriots currently rank 17th in that category. So we're not going to talk about that. We're
not
going to
bad
go
enough.
with tied for 21st in yards per game.
Extra 4 spots.
Correct.
Makes
They're in the
it sound a
20s
little
somewhere.
worse. Yeah. Bottom
Yeah.
third of the league.
So it's not
Yes.
it's not a matter of diminishing the wins. It's a matter of objectively looking at the different facets of the team and saying, you know, how good are they really?
How the wins were compiled.
Yeah. Or losses.
Right.
You know, in this case, you know, you were giving up 10 points and losing the game. So
But it can also work the other way. You can also lose a game because the other team was fully healthy and you were decimated.
Right.
In a game that, quote unquote, you might have won had you had some of your personnel.
Yeah.
You know, that's happened.
Certain Super Bowls come to mind. Let's go to
That's a great example.
Yeah.
The Gronk Super Bowl. I assume you're talking about.
No, I'm talking about Malcolm Butler.
Oh, well, that wasn't an injury.
No, I know, but he wasn't available.
But I think that you can make a strong argument.
Yeah.
It's not like black and white, but you can make a strong argument. The second Giants loss, if Gronk is healthy,
if Gronk
they
is
win.
healthy and not just a
You can. I mean,
yeah, he wasn't even a decoy because they weren't even worried
but
about
it's the
him.
same thing.
Yeah, I know. It is. Of course it is.
That's right.
There's context.
Take that,
Yeah.
Eli Manning, with your.
And we talk about that
Hall
all
of
the
Fame.
time when evaluating football. There's so much going on throughout the game and throughout each play that, you know, just to go on the game log and look at the stats is not fair. It doesn't tell you the whole picture. You know, garbage time stats and all that stuff come into play. Whether you had a lead, whether you didn't have a lead.
Yeah.
Football is a complicated game when
Who
it
got
comes
hurt?
to evaluation.
Yeah. Who got hurt in the middle of the game and was
Right.
swapped out? You know.
Complicated, man.
That's why we watched the game.
No one understands.
Carlton's in Dallas. What's up, Carlton?
Good afternoon, guys. Good afternoon.
Hey.
Hey, real quick. Awesome job. Continued success with y'all's show. Your Michael Hasty got 5 targets last week. He caught all 5, averaged almost 10 yards, around 9.25, 9.5 yards per catch. The coaching staff, AVP and Jerod, said in training camp we were going to be the number 1 screen team in the league, but yet that play has been not used effectively, but it seemed to go pretty well last week. I think, I want to know what y'all think, should Hasty be getting more touches?
Okay.
More than 5?
It's a good question. I mean,
I would agree with Carlton's assessment. I think last week was the first week that they had some success in the screen game.
Yeah.
But 5 throws to a running back is a lot.
Yeah.
No, I like it. I mean, I think, Antonio Gibson hasn't really
Carlton.
been productive the last couple of weeks, and Ramondre is dealing with whatever Ramondre is dealing with, so it seems like they've had to go down the depth
and I
chart a
agree
little
with
bit
Carl.
him.
I mean, I don't know if he's talking specifically, should Hasty get more touches or should they run those plays more? But they've struggled with those. I agree with his assessment. They've run screens, and I do remember when Van Pelt said that we want to be the best screen team in the league. They haven't been able to get it going. Last week, and they weren't necessarily all traditional screens. Like the touchdown probably wasn't a screen per se.
No, he was out in the flat.
But it's a hot route. It's a hot route. Hot route. And that's to me a screen.
Yeah.
Like we know that he's going to leak out right over here. Scat protection.
Yeah. Is that what you call it?
You know what that means, right?
No.
It's when the back is going out. Scat.
Scat?
Yeah.
Scat. I know what a scat.
So you know that they're sending more than you have to block,
you.
basically.
Okay. All right.
You know who taught me that?
Who's that?
Bruce Armstrong.
Did he?
Yeah. Scam and scat protections.
Scam and scat protections.
Wow.
All right.
Yeah.
Good you.
I couldn't tell you.
Got Evan Lazar over there.
No, because I'm sure that there's like a really, really specific
only in this
detail that I don't remember because that's me.
Yeah.
Just enough to get it wrong.
Well, scat protection is only when you do strong side, Paul.
Oh, maybe.
Oh.
Anthony's in Seattle. What's up, Anthony?
Football almanac over here.
Hey, what's up, my people?
Hey.
Long
Where you been, man?
Yeah.
Man, I've emailed a couple of times. They didn't get read, but
That's
I
Fred,
listen to every episode. Love you guys.
Oh.
And Evan, I don't know if Evan's there, but I've been listening to Catch 22 also, and that's the first time that there's been a podcast other than TU that I found worth listening to.
I'm
So
sorry about
you
that.
Go.
Yeah. Hey, listen, Paul, love
Matt's
you, man.
laughing.
One thing I love about you is you keep us grounded. You don't get too high, don't get too low. But I want to push back a little bit, and you don't mean to do this, but every time someone kind of says, "Oh, we got a quarterback," I hope so, or pump the brakes, or listen, Patriots Nation,
I do.
we don't need to pump the brakes. We got a quarterback. It's not just 2 games.
Yes, it is.
The new rule of thumb in this league, listen, is you know it when you see it. I don't know if they've gotten better at in college at developing, or the league's gotten better at not reaching, and when they get them in the building, they develop. But it's been a constant upward arrow from college to training camp to preseason and our regular season. He's dropping the same bombs in the bucket to Boutte that he dropped to Javon Baker that he dropped. He's got the same off-platform, off-script plays to Osborne that didn't count, but we saw it that he's doing now to Hunter Henry in back-to-back games. Like, this is the player, and it's without training wheels. So, and it's not just Drake Maye. It's the top 3, Daniels, Williams. The old rule of thumb is probably one of those 3 are going to work out. I think the new rule of thumb, and it's not just quarterback, is with these young players, if they look right away like they can play, most likely they can play. There's always the exceptions. I don't want to go on a super long rant. I love you guys. I've been listening to every episode, so I've been with you in spirit. I'm going to try to get back on the calling in a little more often.
All right.
Thanks, Anthony.
Good job. Good. That was Chester-like.
Yeah, I mean,
trying to lift up the fan base.
Parcells said if they don't bite when they're puppies, they won't bite when they're dogs.
I
but
could give you
he
a
is
laundry,
biting when he's a puppy.
I could give you a laundry list of guys who bit as puppies and
I know.
Went the other way. Starting with your guy.
My guy.
Let Baker bake.
Why? He's doing well.
He was great as a rookie, and then 5 years later he was out of the league, and just kind of resurrecting his career now. Throwing interceptions at an alarming rate.
I blame the teams.
Either way.
I blame the teams.
Well, what is our team? That's my point.
Okay, but we're just talking about Drake.
I know. Get back to our original conversation. We used to make fun of these teams.
I know.
Yes.
I know.
Now we're one of them.
I know, but
do we have the support system in place?
Listen, when
these guys all come into the league with the requisite talent.
When Mac was here first year, he didn't look like Drake. I will say that.
Mac was not a top 5 pick.
At the time, I said, I'm very pleased. This is my words. I'm very pleased that Mac Jones is our quarterback, and how did that work out for me? So
what I would just say is and I'm going to be very fair. I'm going to take Drake Maye out of this. I'm not convinced on Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels either. They've played 7 games. I don't just write a career. If they had bad games, I wouldn't say they stink. You know, C.J. Stroud now is going on a year and a half of a high level of play. I'm ready to say C.J. Stroud is the real deal.
Yeah.
Like, he's playing at an exceptionally high level for an extended period of time. But I don't know how, if you're Caleb Williams, he's been pretty, seems like he's on the upward trajectory.
Yeah.
I'm a believer in the talent, and I really like Caleb Williams. But are you for sure? Are you convinced that Caleb Williams is a hit?
No, not yet. But I mean, I would say, just to push back too, I mean, it hasn't been a straight trajectory for Drake. I mean, I think there was a period in the summer during training camp where it kind of like feels like he stagnated a little bit, you know, that little period, and then, you know, the last couple of weeks have been really good. But you know, I admire the optimism.
But they're still not scoring and moving the ball.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, they haven't even gotten 300 yards of offense.
But they will.
They absolutely will.
They will.
I'm a believer in the talent.
Yeah.
That's why I say I hope so.
Yeah.
I think so.
No,
like,
well,
but I want to see it first.
Right. Well, you don't want to anoint them before you have
Exactly.
to. You do it after 2 games, and
You wanna crown 'em?
You
Crown
bust out
'em.
the parade.
Crown 'em.
It takes. I mean, it takes some of the fun out of it. You know, those games when he does have games that make you really. But I said yesterday, Paul, I think you were out shooting one of your shows. I'm kind of ready for the bad May
All
game.
access?
There's gonna be a bad May game, right? Like that. Like
Yeah.
it's going to happen. I feel like he's going to have one.
Can we not have
A
that?
couple others. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
we-
just prepared.
Yeah.
If we get a bad May game, like, what else do we have?
Oh no, I know it would be pretty bleak if. Especially-
Brad's in Ohio. What's up, Brad?
Hi, good morning, guys. How you doing?
Hi, Brad.
So anyway, just had a couple observations about our team internally that I want to let you know about. I'm Brad from Ohio, but I'm a Michigan fan. So I've watched a lot of Michael Inouye and Michael Jordan. And Michael Jordan will never be a run blocker. I mean, he never has been, not even in college. And Michael Jordan's Inouye's a great player. The only problem he played the best was Ben Bredesen, I think he played with.
Yeah,
But
I
he
know.
was like
I know that name.
Yeah.
inconsistent, like, you know, at times and stuff. And I believe he even got benched at times for it at Michigan.
I know, but how many years is he out of college?
This is his 5th year.
5th year. So,
right?
Just
Yeah.
takes plays off. I mean, you know, that was one of the, you know, things they noticed when he played at Michigan. But I'm hoping that, you know, that we can get Javon Baker into the mix and have a little empathy for Jerod Mayo. The fans are like really hard on him, and you know, the guy, have empathy for him. How would someone else feel if they were put in the same circumstance? I mean, you know, are they going to do better than what he has?
well, you know, I don't know, but I hear what you're saying. Like, I'd say, rather than empathy, just a little patience. Yes, he's not as smooth as you'd like him to be, messaging wise, but we don't know what he's doing in the locker room, and it doesn't seem like he's lost the locker room or guys. You know, I think they're still with him. So let's see how they respond. You know, whether or not they win this game, let's see how they play.
That's I think that's more important really than anything is
right.
Do they change the way they've looked?
Right.
Some fight.
Yeah.
You
Alex
know?
is in Virginia. What's up, Alex?
Hey, guys. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, first time, long time. First of all, I love you guys. Listen to you guys all the time. Really appreciate what you guys do.
Thank you.
I wanted to run the value that I've been looking at. The past 2 weeks, I've noticed Wise's comments about preparation in particular. And just this past week, Godchow joined him on that train. And in his conference was talking about preparation being an issue. I'm not on the fire or Jerod train, but it is something I'm looking at. I'm just curious if you guys have seen that. What do you guys think of that?
Yeah. I mean, Dietrich Wise mentioned it.
The preparation thing was a red flag.
Thanks, Alex. I mean, let's face it, it's something you never had to worry about for the last 20 years.
But then I want to be fair, too.
Yeah.
The preparation in this past game obviously was
Right.
good.
Yeah.
Because the first quarter was arguably the best quarter of football they've played all year.
Right.
You know, they came out, they went right down the field and scored.
Made a
They
stop.
They stopped. I think they gave up one first down, then got a stop. Then they went right down the field and kicked a field goal.
Yep.
That's the first quarter. Now you're into the second quarter now. And then
just whack-a-mole.
it.
Now you're ready to play, but you can't sustain it.
So
and
I
you
give
can't
them
adjust
credit.
to the
Like
game.
maybe they heard some of that. You know, we got to come up with a better game plan. We got to try some different things. Whatever they tried this week, you know, Van Pelt talked about it, you know, an hour ago. He was really happy.
He lit up about
Yeah,
the
maybe
It's
it's
like we scored a touchdown.
Maybe
Like,
it's
I'm
less
very
about the
excited about it.
preparation and more about what happens when you get hit in the mouth. You know, how do you adjust? You know,
Back to our soft comments.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, and that's, you know, and that's just in game, and especially when it was happening over and over and over and over again. You know, that was where you were hoping you would see at some point, because even some of these bad Patriots defenses, I'd feel like they'd always kind of find a way near the end. Maybe they'll force a couple punts and, you know, like give you a chance. The offense has never been able to take advantage of it, but
There's a reason why it's so hard when the other team, when a team lines up and is trying to run the clock out, and they just line up and run the ball. There's a reason why that's so hard.
Yeah.
Because if the other team knows that you're running the ball, in general terms, they're going to stop you if they want to. You know, if there's a desperation to get the ball back, you usually see the team stop the other team and force the punt or force them to do something different.
But when you
That's
can't,
why so many times you see Patrick Mahomes making a play on those third downs, or Josh Allen, you know, keeping it himself. Because if we just run it between the tackles, 99% of the time the other team's going to figure out how to stop it 3 times before they get 10 yards. And the other day, the Patriots couldn't stop it.
Yeah.
Even then, like you get down inside the 5-yard line, the Patriots stopped it. Even after giving up 17 straight runs, it's generally really hard to do that.
Devin in Belleville, Canada writes in, do you guys think we're going to see the trend of Boutte coming down with a big catch continue? I believe it's 3 straight weeks he's come down with a fairly big play, and wanted to know if you guys think that's just because there are no bodies at wide receiver, or could he be someone that could be a viable option in the pass game, maybe a number 3 or 4 wide receiver? His first few games last year, I thought he made some nice plays, but seemed to have issues getting both feet down, similar to Polk, and ended up losing his playing time.
I'm fine with a couple big plays here and there. I just want a little more consistency out of him and find him a little bit more on the intermediate routes. You know, it's nice to have Drake hit him on a bomb once a game, but you're hoping it could be more consistent. I mean, you give credit to Boutte, though. I mean, I thought he was kind of an afterthought this summer, but everybody's crediting him with how much hard work he's put in. And, you know, other than Douglas, he's the only real receiver right now who has really flashed, and that's something they're desperate for. So if he continues to earn the trust and he can develop more, I think it's great. I don't know. I still am not.
That to me is the bigger thing with Boutte, is what you said. Like Van Pelt, this is twice in about 3 or 4 weeks that he talked about how out of nowhere he came because he wasn't doing anything.
Yeah.
And he changed. And Van Pelt said he changed his practice habits, his work habits. So this was a Boutte problem, not a Patriots problem last year.
Yeah.
He obviously wasn't doing what he needed to do, and he wasn't doing what he needed to do this spring and summer. So when Mike says, I thought he was an afterthought, I don't think Mike was wrong.
Well, I think it's from Boutte's comments.
He changed.
I read into it that he was kind of sulking last year. Like he got kind of pushed to the side and then was sulking and didn't, instead of taking that and working harder to get back on the field to get more.
Yeah,
you know,
I'm more concerned about the way he was thought of this year, this spring and summer. And all of a sudden, they said there was a change in him where he was working harder and he was studying more and was sharper on his assignments.
Got the answers for everything in the film room.
I think he earned his playing time.
Maybe it just clicked.
Who knows? Yeah. Now, to Mike's point, it's clicked. Like, I don't think that it's clicking to like 2 catches a game. Like that's not not enough.
No.
And that's why I think I revert back to what my general impression of him has been of it's nice, but I'll be surprised if he continues to kind of do this and becomes a frequent catch guy on the offense. You know, I'd be more.
He does look like a guy who at least can win a one-on-one. Like he beats man, you know. In both of those big plays the last 2 weeks, he's beaten man coverage, and they don't have a lot of those guys.
Yeah.
Yep.
Brandon
Douglas is another.
Brandon in Las Vegas via Lexington, Mass. First off, wanted to say that I've been very impressed with how Fred has handled the changing of both the email and hotline names. Besides a couple slips up, it's been a seamless transition. My question is, how do you think Bill's comments about the Patriots, now that he's in the media, will impact his ability to get a job next offseason? I don't think teams will look kindly on how he's handled being rejected. seeing as he couldn't get a job this past offseason, I can't imagine his conduct as a part of the media contingent will help him in this coming offseason.
I think this is a great question.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? I'm curious what you think.
I don't think it'll affect anything.
I don't think it will affect anything either. I think if you're going to sign up for Bill
Should it?
Belichick, you're going to get. Well, I think you're already aware if you're going to sign up for that experience, you're going to get some things you probably don't like, and this might reflect on some of those things a team might not like. But I just think if you're going to make that move, it's because you want Bill Belichick, good, bad, ugly, everything that comes with him, to kind of change the narrative around your team.
So you're okay that he coaches your team for 2 years, and then on the third year when he's no longer coaching you, he's just going to destroy you. Like if I were Jerry Jones, I wouldn't even contemplate hiring him, because you know all the skeletons. And I heard, you talk about my shows. I heard Fred talking about this the other day, Fred Toucher, and if I were Jerry Jones with all the skeletons he probably has in his closet, you want Bill Belichick on his 17 platforms talking about you in 2 years?
You know the way these teams think, though. Well, we won't have that type of breakup with them. They all think that way.
That's crazy.
I know, but I don't think. I think more so.
Like you think that? What do you think would be a worse breakup? 25 years of dominance and then you part ways, or 2 years and it didn't work and you part ways?
I know, but I think that more so what, if anything hurts him, it'll be that people are afraid that if we bring him in, it's going to fire everybody. Like that's from what it's reported. That's what kept him from being the Falcons head coach.
I mean, that could happen.
That
could happen. But I was really taken aback, and I remained surprised by it that there was just no real interest in him. And I just wonder,
Yeah.
I wonder how much interest there is in him.
I wonder too. I mean, and I just think before he got on all these TV shows, if you listen to what was said on the way out here, you knew it wasn't going great. You knew that it was a struggle to kind of keep this thing together. You knew he's tough to deal with, that he wants to run things the way that he's going to do it. And
right.
I mean, and even, I knew back in 2009 when I watched that documentary they did where it's like, man, this is uncomfortable watching him talk to the owner. This is weird. This is not what I expected. That was the first time I'd ever seen some of those interactions highlighted. So I just think these guys are greedy.
How did I come
he's
off?
a name. And
did I come off
you're
well?
great. Attentive.
Yeah.
That was the word that comes to mind. But
thanks.
These guys, these owners are all they're greedy. They don't care. They think they can.
That's right.
Deal with the bad stuff and it won't be that bad, and everyone's going to be talking that we've got the greatest coach of all time.
Right.
And they're whistling past the graveyard. We know before he started criticizing his former team, you knew that there's going to be some warts. But they probably are going to think, well, if we just make him the coach,
we won't
he's not going to
have
have
warts.
control.
You guys are probably
he's not
right.
going to have control over
think.
being the GM, and the personnel's out of his hand. That was a big problem, and they'll convince themselves. Just so that they can, be the head story.
All right, take a break. Come back. Emails, calls. Then we'll do picks. Big day. We'll be right back. Whether you're in the game or betting on the game, you'll need a game plan. DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the New England Patriots, provides you with everything you need to build your personal betting game plan so you can get in on all the action while practicing safe bets. Visit DraftKings.com/responsible-gaming to learn more about all the safe betting tools DraftKings has to offer. Hope is here, 800-327-5050 or gamblinghelplinema.org. Must be 21 plus. Play it smart from the start. GameSenseMA.com. Physically present in Massachusetts. See DraftKings.com/responsible-gaming for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources.
Isn't it time to get exactly what you want? Welcome to Red Hot Deal Days from Verizon, where you get your pick of our best deals. Like My Plan, where you can pick the perks you want and save on every one. For limited time, bring your own phones to a Verizon store and you can get My Plan for our best price ever. Get exactly what you want in your phone plan and only pay for what you need. Bring your phones to your Verizon store today and get My Plan. These deals won't last. It's your Verizon.
When someone accidentally threw away the school play costumes,
Oh no.
replacements were shipped with FedEx. And with picture proof of delivery, everyone could focus on the perfect opening night. FedEx, where now meets next. For residential delivery only.
Morning. Like I always tell you guys, I always take this opportunity to speak with you guys, and really with the understanding that I'm talking to the players, right? I'm talking to the players. Obviously, there are things where I'm talking to the fans as well, but the message for those guys, it's all about the Jets and we're moving forward. Obviously there's a lot of noise out there, and I said, we are what our record is, and we have to get better. And that ultimately is my responsibility. And look, I take all the blame. It's fine. And it's moving on to the Jets.
With that said, your message to the guys, what kind of responsibility do you feel you need to take this week with this team because of where they're at and all this noise that's kind of around them?
Yeah, just continue to use this as an opportunity to get closer as a unit. It's not the first time that any of those men in there have had to deal with adversity, myself included. It's a time for us to get closer while everything around you gets louder, and hopefully we go out there and get a victory.
Jerod, is it harder for you to talk to your team now than it was at the start of the season or after the Bengals game?
Not at all. And I said look, during a time of peace, I always tell those guys, remember what we say on day one when we get to day 100. And, I think consistency, especially in a leadership role, is definitely important. And for me, we get to Wednesday. At this point in time, we've always changed the page, win, lose, or draw. And that's always been my mindset, and that's my message to the team.
Coach, as someone who's always been a vocal leader on this team, both as a player and as a coach, when broadcast, it seems like really more you're standing on the sidelines. Has there been any thought to maybe engaging more with the players? I know everyone's got different styles, but in terms of your approach?
I do engage with the players. I engage with the defense, and I would say I also have a headset where I'm flipping through channels, talking to the coordinators. There have been times where I brought those guys up, and there have been times where I've let the coordinators or position coach do their thing, even though we've talked about it on the headset. So.
Is there any consideration of you taking more ownership of the defense?
Look, DeMarcus is our defensive coordinator. Look, I have ownership of the defense, the offense, and special teams. That's how I look at it. Those guys are coordinators, but once again, ultimately, it falls on me.
Did you say anything more to the guys in light of your comments on Sunday that they were playing soft right now?
Look, we're on to the Jets today. We've had those conversations. I've always looked at that as an opportunity to go out there and prove everyone wrong. That's how, and once again, going back to a chip on your shoulder, we've all had those chips on our shoulders at times that have gotten us through. And so this is no different. Obviously, once again, we are struggling as a team. Our record is what it is. It's about what we can do to get better.
What's the player reaction been to those comments, whether it was after the game or I know on the radio?
Look, after the game, we're all disappointed. On a long plane ride home, we're all disappointed. And again, it's about getting to Wednesday so we can now focus on the next target. And the guys have good juice, expecting a good practice, and we'll see how it looks on Sunday.
Would you want a reaction out of them? In some ways, would you want them to get mad, for instance? Were you trying to do that with some of those comments?
Look, I'm just telling you, when I talk after games, it's about what I see out there on the field at that current time. In saying that, the guys are preparing like it's any other week, and we're talking about the Jets.
Are you getting concerned at all about the message getting through to the guys, whether it be setting edges and struggling to do that for weeks, or not? Hey, we've got to stop the run. 5 weeks in a row, 120 plus yards a game, 170 last 3 plus.
I'm always concerned about our team. That comes with the responsibility of being the head coach. And I would say if we were sitting here at 6-1, I still would be concerned with a lot of different aspects. So I look at it the same way.
How different is this challenge Sunday now that they have Devontae Adams on the defense?
He's a good player. Obviously has a great rapport with the quarterback. And, another week, second week having him, I expect him to be more involved, even though he was involved the first game.
Jerod, going back to the playing soft comments, I know you said you're not coaching players to do that. What are you going to do this week to prevent that from happening again?
Look, all the guys understand, we've had our conversations. It's on to the Jets, and that's what we're going to do. We're just going to go out there and play good football. That's what we need to do in all 3 phases of the game.
Would that involve any kind of changes on the practice field or in meetings?
We always try new things during practice. Even going back to training camp, you always look for things that get responses from your players. Look, we're going to go out there. Wednesday has always been a work day for us, and I expect that to continue today.
You've had a real hard time stopping the run as a defense. What have you seen on film as a defensive guy that you think that you can change to get it right?
I would say the last few weeks, you look at one game, it's the 3 big runs. And then you look at this past game, and it's the 4-yard, 5-yard, 4-yard, 6-yard, just the continuous slow bleed. And, we have to do a better job, getting off blocks and going out there tackling the ball carrier. And again, it's a huge opportunity this week to kind of get back on track.
Would you consider you guys still a 2-gapping defense?
I would say, if you look over the last, if you go back and watch film over the last 5 or 10 years, there are times when you are in a 2-gap mentality, but there are also times when you're in a 1-gap mentality, and that goes back to the game planning.
reason I ask is I'm wondering if when there are issues like the issues you guys had this past week or a couple weeks back, I think the last 3 weeks is 185 yards on the ground.
Yeah.
Do you have to think about changing like philosophically what you guys do in order to adjust, because you have had some personnel movement, you're missing some players? Does that change how you have to handle things?
Look, the players that we have in that locker room right now are the players that are capable and have done throughout the season, done a good job against the run. And once again, it's about just on a down after down after down basis. I tell the players, no matter what special teams, offense or defense, like I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know what play it's going to be, but we just need to be sound on every play.
What have you seen from the run defense, and the run game? I'm sorry, maybe why they've been struggling recently.
There are different factors. I wish I can get up here and just tell you it's one thing. It's not. I mean, we need to be a balanced offense. That's what we need to do. And here against the Jets, hopefully we get that balance that we need.
You mentioned you start talking. Are you disappointed at all that Bill has been vocal and has taken, feels like, some shots at this process?
Look, like I said, my main focus is the guys inside of this building, not only the players, but also the coaches and the rest of the staff. And look, as soon as we, turn this thing around, then we'll be okay. It comes down to wins and losses. Like, that's what it comes down to. And that's what you're ultimately judged by.
Also, in regards to the noise, did you feel compelled to talk to the team about social media or make any changes?
For me, it is what it is. Like, if you're winning games, there'll be noise. We've done this for a long time. It's very cyclical. Sometimes narratives are already written. It's about just a different cast of characters. And what I would say is, we know that the only people that can go out there and win football games is not the media. It's not your mom calling you, telling you to do X, Y, and Z, or someone at the grocery store. No, it's about the guys that are in this building.
Jerod, does Jalen Polk have a concussion?
He's in the protocol.
Hurt or not, with Jalen Polk, does he have to see his workload reduced, in your opinion? Does he look like a guy to you that just needs like a little time away?
Yeah,
to get himself right?
As he goes through the protocol, we'll address it at that point. Thanks.
And now, great moments in history.
1 o'clock on CBS. The 1-1 Bears are at the 0-2 Colts.
Indy by 1.
Ooh, tough one. What's that really though, Fred?
Well, they're -2 then.
Plus 2.
Well, there you go. Tells you all you need to know. I don't know. I'm going to go Cleveland at home.
No, Indy's +1. They get 3, so they're -2.
They're at home, so
they get 3.
Right.
Right.
So it's really like they're +2.
They should be 4.
So if you're getting 3, that means they're favored by 1.
No, they're not getting it.
They're giving points. They're favored by 1.
They didn't get the 3.
You're welcome, everybody.
If you're going to follow the nonsensical 3 points for the home team thing, what would the spread be if it was neutral?
Don't bring me into this.
I'm so confused.
Anyone?
4.
Anyone?
+3. Because you get 3 points at home. You would be giving, +3. Right?
+2.
If it was 0? I thought you get 3 at home.
You get 3 at home.
No,
he says you get 3. It doesn't exist, but he insists that you get 3 at home.
Oh, it's a rule. Yeah.
So they're favored by 1.
Isn't 3 minus 3 0?
So that would be.
Why are we minusing 3?
Because you said it was 0.
That would be.
We gotta hurry. We gotta hurry.
That's another great moment from
All right, back here on Patriots Unfiltered. 855-PATS-500 is the TPX hotline. Podcast at patriots.com is the email address. A couple shows ago, I think it was a week ago today, we had our conversation about hoodies.
Oh, yeah.
Was that? Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. Brian says, okay, Fred, about those hoodies, I have no less than 40 in my closet, so in my own mind, I'm kind of an expert on the topic. So whether it be thick, thin, T-shirty, or whatever, the key is, does it have a single pocket in the front? If the answer to that question is yes, it's all good. If no pocket, then the hoodie has to go.
Okay, well, I have
Not on those T-shirt ones. You don't have a pocket in the front.
I do have. It's
no, not 2 pockets. A single pocket.
Well, he said if it has no pocket.
He said, does it have a single pocket in the front? If the answer to that question is yes, it's all good. If no pocket, then the hoodie has to go.
Well, I have a pocket.
2 pockets?
I have 2 of them.
That's not good.
They're divided.
As for sleeveless,
2 on the sides.
They can't connect.
Yeah, no, can't
I
connect.
mean, I could cut through it if you
It's
wanted.
not a
me
single
to.
pocket.
It's not a single pocket.
As for sleeveless, I also have about 10 of those, which I refer to as my summer hoodies. Great for start.
Pump cover.
Yeah, he gets into exercising. I'm not going to
Yeah,
talk
TJ has a lot of those.
Yeah.
It's my pump cover.
Gets swole. Yeah, like the sweat going.
Hardo.
Correct, Eric. TJ.
Don't even get
Hardo.
to like mock turtleneck, mock sweatshirts with like the, it didn't have the hoodie, just had the neck on it, like a mock turtleneck.
What do they call mock?
Mock.
Well, they used to have mock turtlenecks.
Mock
Yeah.
turtleneck.
Those were like a 90s,
Yeah.
early aughts.
Turtlenecks.
Yeah.
I got made fun of a couple times in
Mocks.
college for wearing turtlenecks by girls. They
You
did
wore-
not. I
you
don't think
wore
girls
turtlenecks
like
in college?
turtlenecks.
Did you have a pipe too?
No, I didn't
like
have
maybe
pipe.
a tweed jacket with little
No,
patches
no,
on the jacket?
Just a turtleneck, just to keep the neck
the
warm.
elbows?
Looks nice under a sweater
No,
sometimes,
I was
or so
never
I thought.
never a big turtleneck guy.
No,
But I
neither were the
did
girls
go
that I
through
was
the
talking
mock
to.
turtleneck phase though.
Oh yeah.
The mock
The mock
turtles.
I think I might have
With
had
a chain on the
I'm
outside.
sure you did.
Chain on the outside.
No.
Ah, there
No,
you go.
No, I was never a chain on the outside guy.
I'm actually,
you know that.
I'm Googling mocks just to see what they were, and the pictures have chains on the outside.
I never ever wore a chain
Never,
on the
not once.
outside. Never, not once.
No.
And I used to wear a chain every day.
Sure.
With the horn.
No more?
With the horn. No, I don't have any chains.
No chains?
No chains.
Jacob in Illinois says, listening to Paul fight listeners over 2-point conversions may be the funniest operating hazard I've had while driving my truck. I've got a statement for the team and then 2 podcast bits. 1, we all knew the team wasn't going to be great, so everyone acting like we're beyond hope and help just seems like childish whining from spoiled fans. Like interstate road construction, the ride may get a lot rougher before you see smooth and open roads. Be patient, it'll come. 2, I'm getting aggravated that Paul can't get a new car when you have the intro read for your friends at buyatoyota.com. What's it going to take for them to help a guy out? Get him a nice 4Runner so he and Mike can go off-roading into the beach to look for Jaws. There you go, Toyota.
Jaws is in the ocean. You a boat.
You said the beach.
Going to the beach.
This was no boat accident.
You looking out on the binocs?
Did you alert the Coast Guard?
No. Local jurisdiction.
And if you want to see Toyota's best offers, including those not seen on TV, go to buyatoyota.com. It's the official website for deals from the official vehicle of the New England Patriots.
So there.
Let's go get Paul a new car.
Do you have to get a new car soon?
That's one of my favorite emails ever.
I might have to get
No,
a new car.
Toyota, I'm talking to you because I know that there's always somebody, no matter what the subject, that's related. So I know there's somebody from Toyota listening. If you got Paul a new car, the promotion that you would get off of that exceeds anything you could buy on TV or radio.
I would do reads here. I would do
Oh my
reads on
God!
my shows.
You do
We do pictures of them.
advertisement on it every day, up to Peabody.
What
back,
brand? What
up,
model
back.
do you want?
I could probably. Isn't Camry? Isn't that the
Camry's
equivalent?
a good one.
That's the
Sensible
equivalent
choice.
of an Accord, right?
I guess I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah,
Anyone? Bueller?
Camera's a good one.
I'll get the
Camry.
4Runner. Look on the 4Runner.
Yeah, I don't need I don't need anything special. I don't need an SUV or
Four-wheel
anything.
drive. You got a long
just
drive.
a sedan. I just need
Little space.
Just a sedan.
Spread
I
out.
don't need space.
Yeah.
I think
It's
I might
just
have
me.
to get one too.
You want the Corolla.
Isn't that a
No,
smaller one?
Camry's higher than
Isn't
Corolla.
Camry bigger than a
Yeah.
Corolla?
I think Corolla's the low man.
I
on
think
the,
a Corolla is like a Civic. I think.
Yeah.
And a Camry is like
You
an
don't have to-
Accord.
you don't have to-
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't have to be a Honda, you know.
Anyway, new,
Well,
right?
that's-
Not used.
No, well, I could use a new one. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have a long commute.
Yeah.
100 miles a day.
Yeah.
I got a hum. I got a hum in the back of my car that I don't know how they're gonna fix it, but it's driving me
I
crazy.
just sort of have a bad car that has a lot of miles on
How many
it.
miles?
250,000.
See, that's an
It's
advertisement
like
right
249,000,
Yeah.
I think, right now.
Yeah. So let the next
Yeah.
let the next Toyota journey begin.
And
there.
I'd
Hasn't passed inspection in 3 years.
1 year.
Come on, Toyota, step up.
And I don't know why you have to call that out to attention. Fred just told you we have a lot of people from a lot of different walks of life
I'm with the
listening.
state police,
Now I got
Paul.
a statey listening who's going to be tailing me
Right.
home.
I'm just gonna hang out on 128.
Finally, Jacob says, with next Thursday being Halloween, could we see a PU show with everyone in costume? I hear recreating Hooper's look isn't hard,
Hooper.
and Evan could break out in his tightest pants to be Ben Johnson.
Nope.
Oh, that'd be sexy.
No. Mike will come in as like some
I could do something.
mid-'80s Patriots
Ooh, I like that.
coach or
Challenge
something.
accepted.
Raymond Berry will come in as.
I've been trying to find a way to get my wig on this show. I'm going to get that wig on this show one way or another. It's a great wig.
What's stopping you? Just bring it in and wear it.
All right, fine.
Speaking of Halloween, I got booed yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
In
I
the
got
office.
booed as well.
Did you?
Just like
Did
gave
you?
it away.
Yeah.
You, like walked in.
Well,
it's like, ah!
I didn't give it away.
you were just trying
I plan on partaking.
So here's the funny thing.
But I wanted everybody to share.
So what people,
trying
you
to be
get
nice.
booed, you get like a bucket of candy, and it says, you got booed, and the idea is now you have to boo somebody else and get them a bucket of candy.
Yeah, I think 2 people.
So about
So
a couple
the chain
weeks
stops here.
No, but listen, a couple weeks ago I was cleaning out my office, and I found these like stick-on tattoos. So I left them on Autumn's desk. You know, one of our new video people. I figured out maybe she'll want it. So I left them on her desk. So yesterday I got booed. And in the bucket were those tattoos.
Nice.
So I said to her, I go, yeah, I got booed. She's like, oh, really? I go, yeah, and you did it. She goes, how do you know? I go, because the tattoos that I left on your desk were in the bucket. She's like, oh, man, I outed myself. So that was funny.
Yeah, so Sailor did it to me.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, there's a picture of her.
Oh.
So I don't think she's trying to cover
She's
her
taking
tracks.
credit, yeah.
But I feel bad because now the chain ends.
Little Jersey Mike's? You got a little
Well,
Jersey
I
Mike's card?
thought that
You,
maybe
you
Mike...
refused to partake.
Well, refuse is a strong word.
I think it's...
But
yeah.
probably,
he got
probably
very-
accurate in this case.
I think you're slapping down the D'Angelo's sub right now.
No, I actually, as part of my bucket, I got a Jersey Mike's card.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But I gave it to Cam because I thought he might be able to use it.
Man of the people.
He was I am a man.
I thought you were first
Mike.
like, I got booed. You were going to get mad. Like, what, you booing me? Why are you booing me? Like, everyone, you know.
I wasn't
But
mad.
then it was a good thing.
I wasn't mad at all.
They
I
give
was
you
trying,
candy.
you know, I like this nice bucket of candy they put together, and I figured everybody can enjoy it in the office.
Puts a lot of pressure on
So I
people
put
to
it in
do
the
it. Yeah,
bullpen, though, right?
Yeah.
So everybody can enjoy it. I'm getting mocked by
know.
Mike.
I know.
Yeah.
You didn't give me any of your candy. What do you
I
want?
did.
I didn't get any of that candy.
It's in the bullpen.
Bullpen's not the radio studio.
Okay, I'll bring it down.
I don't mess with those white chocolate peanut butter cups. That's not.
Did you try one?
No, I have tried them.
You don't
I'm
know
not going
from
back.
white chocolate peanut butter
I'm never
cups
going
until
back
you try
again.
them. I will just say it tastes exactly like the regular milk chocolate ones.
I like
Well,
the
the
dark
peanut
chocolate.
butter's overwhelming.
Correct.
It overwhelms the chocolate or the
Which
candy
is
part.
still like
Yeah.
one of the greatest candy bars
the-
ever.
Reese's?
Reese's.
Oh,
Reese's
absolutely.
peanut butter cup.
Oh, yeah.
I put it up as the
It's the capital T, the
capital
best.
T, the
Yeah.
best. Yeah.
And when you get the
Strong
sleeve of
take,
three,
Simple.
Strong take.
Simple.
when you get the sleeve of three, that first one is always the best one. You know, it comes out.
I like the specialty ones, like in the pumpkins.
Oh,
They get
I
a
don't
little-
like any of
little
that.
thicker, little thicker.
Yeah, I don't like any of that. Just give me the normal Reese's peanut butter cup.
Fine.
Let's go to the TPX hotline. Brian's in Mass. What's up, Brian?
It's kind of vague.
Brian.
Brian Belichick?
Yep, well, he's out.
No.
He's at practice.
Joe's in Delaware. What's up, Joe?
Biden?
Hey guys, thanks for taking the call. I have a question. If in March 2020, instead of letting Brady go, Robert Kraft convinces Brady to re-sign and lets Belichick go, do you think that the Patriots could have won another Super Bowl? And just for context, I'm sure Josh McDaniels would have been the head coach. There weren't a ton of other candidates available. Eric Bieniemy and maybe Bill O'Brien. And then the free agent class had Amari Cooper. But instead of trading our first-round pick, we could have maybe drafted Brandon Ayuk or T. Higgins. And I'll take the call off the air. Thanks.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, like that puts a lot of different variables. I would need all of those kinds of moves to have been made if I would say that they would have won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Because I don't think the 2019 Patriots were anywhere close.
No.
With Tom Brady.
Yeah.
And trying to figure out how to bring Tom Brady back into that mix with, I mean, how are you going to find the weapons that year, too? Like, Ayuk, what was he, a rookie, I think, 2020? I don't know. I mean, I would never rule anything out with Tom Brady, but
No,
Kansas
I
City
wouldn't
was
say
really
he has
good.
no chance because we've seen him with average to below average talent.
And you think that
win.
2020 season, too, I always thought he just kind of had a distinct advantage because, like, his team – well, I mean, I don't want to take too much credit away from him, but
yeah, you do.
having an established quarterback and system and everything in that season when it all kind of – everything got turned upside down and, you know, having a guy that intense. I mean, can you imagine some of these teams now we're talking about it's hard for them to, like, maintain focus
He got in trouble
in
for
front of a
doing
game?
things that he wasn't supposed to do in Tampa.
Having meetings.
RM writes in your discussion last week to visualize what the regular callers look like based on their voices reminded me of my impression of what the PU team looked like While only having listened to the podcast for 3+ years, I have since seen the team on video and will share my thoughts.
Oh, Jesus.
Paul looks older, crustier, and more pompous than what his voice sounds like. He is too pale and definitely needs some sun. Wow. Fred, with his amiable sounds and comments, looks similar to the impression of a father figure of a house full of rabid football fans. However, he does have a face for radio and not TV.
Ooh,
wow. Mike looks nothing like expected. With all of the discussion of his Hollywood good looks, one would expect he is a Richard Gere lookalike, whereas he is much closer to Shemp.
I appreciate the Three Stooges reference. That's good. That's good.
Well, you could call me pale, but Mike is wicked handsome.
Tight Pants Evan looks the part perfectly. He's the kid in class that sits in the front row, raises his hand for every question, and receives wedgies throughout. There was no surprise there. Alex and Tamara have lovely, sweet voices, and both exceeded expectations. I'm not sure what the caller/texter a few months ago was thinking about when he said Alex's hair was not good. It might have been a bad day, but I think he needs his eyes examined. All in all, it would make sense to keep the cameras on the ladies and relegate the remainder of the staff to the closet.
Oh,
wow.
jeez.
Okay.
Thank you for your email.
Yeah. Let's see. Thordor from Iceland writes
boy.
in. We have listeners from all over the world, obviously.
Nice.
Long-time listener, first-time electronic email sender. Was wondering if it would be possible to get Mike's and Evan's songs somewhere so I could have them as my ringtone. I just threw up on myself. My
Yes,
wife
you
and
did.
daughters always laugh when I'm listening to your shows and start to sing along with the songs. Have a great day. Well, you can just record just download the show and record it yourself.
Right.
Locker room.
Sure, Matt Morrell could
Hey, Mike.
email you one of
what
those.
was it like?
It's catchy.
Brian in Mass is back, by the way.
Yeah, I'll get him in a second.
Oh,
Ray writes in, I know we talk about Bill being hard to deal with back in the day, but hearing Julian, Gronk, and Billy O talk, it seemed that Tom was just as hard. Do you all agree?
Tom was
Absolutely.
demanding. Yeah, Tom was
absolutely.
demanding.
I think that's some of the stuff that we talked about where you've heard Tom Brady talk about a couple of different times of you're not getting the ball. Like that, he would just be like, if you don't do it, you're not getting the ball. I'm not throwing it to you.
Do you
like,
think that, do you think about that right now with like Jalen Polk?
A little bit.
Yeah,
Little bit,
like
yeah.
Brady, that would be enough.
Oh no, and his career will be over. No,
I don't know about his
I know.
career being
No,
over,
I
but the
know.
season would be over.
Tough. I mean, even Jules, there's a great Edelman clip of, they'd be running drills and it was just against air, and Welker would get up and go first, and he would go through the drill, and then Edelman's like, I get up and I go through the drill, and Billy O does the impression, it was perfect, of Tom being like, Jules, did you see how West did it? And he's like, I'm running it the same way. Like, Jules getting all mad, but that's how hard it was.
Yeah, some of those clips, I haven't.
That was a funny
I haven't
one.
watched those podcasts, but some of the clip, like Edelman's good at it.
Oh yeah,
He's pretty.
Billy
he's
O
pretty funny.
is
Billy O's
hilarious.
impersonations were pretty good too.
Talking about a Bill's feet smelling in meetings, that was another good one.
But I guess they talked to Bill O'Brien just recently, maybe yesterday or a couple of days ago, and he said that last year was an absolute, it was.
Oh, like he
it
won't
was
talk.
terrible. It was a mess.
Like every time it's come up
Last
around
year
him,
here?
I've seen.
Yeah,
Of course it was.
Yeah.
No, but we all knew that at some point Bill O'Brien was going to talk about last year's experience. I didn't know he had talked about it so recently. So I don't know if either of you heard.
Every time,
I think that's all he said, right?
That's all I've heard is just like the little bits of just like it was kind of relayed to me of people asking him questions in scrums about it, and him just being like, we're not talking about it. It was a mess. Like that, he just kind of pleads the fifth on the whole season, which I think is kind of interesting at this point, which might be nice to get like some of that perspective of, well, what was the mess? But,
Right.
like now I want to know.
Well, my guess is the mess was that he wasn't really allowed to bring any of his own coaches with him.
Yep.
He was kind of saddled with an offensive line coach who ended up, through unforeseen circumstances, Adrian Clem wasn't able to finish the season or missed a big chunk of the season, and Billy O had to basically run the whole thing.
Yeah.
He had to do
Will Long, and I think that was his only guy.
Yeah.
So that's a mess when
Yeah.
you're an offensive coordinator and you're trying to do, everything without any of your guys. You're running every meeting.
But you could see from his body language, he'd be on the sideline. He'd be just shaking his head.
Yeah.
And do I like Billy O, so maybe I, give him a little bit more leeway. But it's not all that different than what Patricia had to deal with the previous year. Not only you're trying to make this guy an offensive coordinator, but he's the offensive line coach, and he's saddled, quote unquote, with Joe Judge, who's got his fingers in every element as the quarterback's guru.
Yeah.
Like just the setup, the design was not ideal the last 2 years before this one.
Henry writes in, I'm curious if anyone else thinks the Patriots front office overestimated their desirability when trying to sign veterans this past offseason. And if so, would Maye starting and playing at a reasonable level be enough to sign some high-end talent in the offseason? Well, certainly they got slapped in the face, particularly with Ayuk. I mean, he did not want to come here. The Patriots offered him more money than Pittsburgh was offering, and certainly more than he ended up getting at San Francisco. He didn't even want to talk about it.
But now that was a good move.
What?
Now that was a good move.
Well, whether it was a good or bad move,
he tore his ACL, so that would have happened here too.
But whether or not he would have been good here, that's beside the point. The point is he didn't want to come here. Period.
Yeah.
And Calvin Ridley didn't seem to be that crazy about it either.
He didn't want to come here.
Yeah. So it's a problem. It's a problem that they're going to have to deal with.
And it will still be a problem no matter what Drake Maye does.
Yeah.
The difference is it's not an insurmountable problem.
Right.
You have to pay your way out of it.
Yep.
Yeah. You're going to have to pay a little bit more.
Yeah.
Probably than an average team.
Yep.
Unless Maye's so good that they start winning games.
Yeah.
That changes it.
Yeah. I mean, let's just say that Maye continues the progression, and let's say Boutte and Bourne, pick one other, Pop Douglas, have good seasons. And you're a wide receiver out there. It's like, if they can do well with that guy, I can light it up.
But they have to win.
Yeah.
Mike always talks about the 93 thing. Like, show something that there's
something brewing,
a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, we got something.
So they have 10 games left. Can they go 5-5 in the last 10? And and Maye's throwing for 300 yards, in 7 of those 10 games, and these guys look good. Yeah, maybe someone look at that and say, I can help that team. I can put that. They're on the way.
Yeah.
Especially where he's chucking bombs downfield. I mean, that's like just that in and of itself. I feel if I'm a receiver, I'm like, that guy can hit me, man. If I can get open downfield, I'm gonna make some big plays.
Brian's back. Brian from Mass. He's from the whole state.
Again, vague, very vague.
He has multiple locations in
You got guys after you, Brian? You're trying to keep a low profile?
Yeah, what's up?
Hey.
All business.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good.
AB.
Okay.
How are you?
All right.
Is that it? You just okay. All right, we'll move on. Courtney's in Houston. What's up, Courtney?
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call. I just wanted to say, jump in here really quickly. That was a weird call, by the way, Brian. I just wanted to give you guys I just want to take a second. Mike, I've never gotten the privilege of talking to you directly, so to me, this is about the coolest it gets because I'm going to ask you a defensive question. But I just want to take a second to give you guys your flowers. You guys have been making me laugh all day despite all of the stuff that's been going on with the Patriots and all the tumultuous stuff that's going on. So just the laughter today, the joy, the recalls from being JV, QB coach, like, you guys are making this thing really lighthearted, and I promise you that that's worth a lot. So, Mike, here's my question. Let's go past, present, future, defensively. Do you think that there's something a la a Gilmore that we could have gotten in the pre-off season that could have helped this defense? I know, obviously, we went very heavy on the draft offensively, which made sense. I'm sorry, did I say that right? Yeah, we went heavy on the draft offensively. But do you think there's something we could have did with the defense? Do you think there's something we could do at the trade deadline? And then do you see them going heavy free agency next year, knowing that they're probably going to use that draft capital on the offensive staff again?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, on the offensive guys again.
Yeah.
No, it's a good question, Courtney. And here's the thing. The answer is probably there was, but at the beginning of the season, you didn't think it was going to be this bad. Like, you didn't think that, defense we have to really, look at. So that's why they were going after wide receivers. That's why they brought in, Chooks. So their focus was like, how do we make this offense better? Had they known what was going to happen on defense, yeah, there probably was things they could have done. Gilmore was a guy that was out there.
No chance.
No, but I'm just saying there were guys out there that could have helped this defense.
Yeah, but I think you have would have had the same problem that you had on offense trying to do that.
Yeah.
Like you can sign Sione Takitaki, but you're not going to sign Roquan Smith.
Right.
He ain't coming here.
Right.
You know,
No,
sorry,
I-
Mike. This was
well,
directed at Mike. This
But,
is his question.
but I think that Courtney's point was there didn't seem to be that focus on the defense, and he's right. But I don't think they thought they needed to.
I think they needed another edge. I mean, I think they could have used a young, third, fourth round pick. Doesn't have to be the first couple rounds, but that was the sweet spot. I was looking at those guys last year. They could have done it in free agency too. I mean, I think we all saw the writing on the wall with Judon. We knew that was going to come to some kind of contract impasse. So, I said to Paul, I mean, I kind of like Anthony Jennings. I think he's like, a good role player. But, in a perfect world, I would have taken what I paid Jennings and Uche and maybe tried to put that into one player who is a combination of the two and playing, all three downs, and somebody who, Uche continues to just kind of be a spot player, and Jennings is a run stuffer, but their run defense stinks right now. So
I think a lot of these guys, you mentioned Jennings, and I agree, they're all good players, but they're not the top tier players, and they're asked to be now, and that's the problem, that they're being asked to be impact playmakers, and they're support players. They're solid support players. They're the middle class that Paul likes to scoff at.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say that.
I'd settle for middle class.
I wouldn't have done more at safety. I think they that position group. It's been it is what it is with what's happened to Peppers. Bentley, I'm kind of a little bit confused on, just because I'm looking at next off season, and he's going to come back, but I think you've seen this year that the drop off of not having a second guy who can play inside off the ball is a detriment. So I would consider drafting that spot next year and
agree
reinforcing
with everything
the second
Mike
level.
said. Edge, Mike, you've always been edge in another corner, and then the linebackers and stuff. I agree with all your assessments. I think it's fair to criticize the structure of the roster because they could have done more, but I don't necessarily blame them for. Listen, if Barmore, Bentley, and Peppers were all out there, and listen, that's unrealistic because every defense loses guys.
Sure.
But if those guys were out there, that's the defense they thought they were bringing into the season.
Yeah,
I think they'd be 1-6 with all three of those guys, but they wouldn't be allowing 200 yards a game rushing.
Right.
Yeah.
And maybe they'd be 2-5 because I think they would have won the Miami game. But to Mike's point, what fourth round pick, maybe a guy like that, early day 3 kind of a pick on defense. That's a guy that I think Mike is right. You can add some depth to your some areas that are lacking, but I don't think that they should have been interested in high profile signings in free agency on defense at those spots. Not even getting into the same problem I think they were to run into.
Well, I think
like Danielle Hunter got moved in the off. You think Danielle Hunter wants to go to the Patriots in the offseason?
Yeah.
He goes to Houston?
Well, I think, is your mind right now wrapped around, forget about the quick fixes, we need long-term guys.
Yeah, that's how I look at it, yes.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not overly interested in, like, Cooper Kupp right now.
Yeah.
I don't, would that help right now? Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's not going to help me get where I want to go.
Roy says Paul would look good behind the wheel of an Avalon.
Oh.
Toyota, that's the top end, I think.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Well, I would be fine with whatever you're going to give me for the bagel.
Kudos to him for
that's
pointing.
all I can afford.
Kudos to him for pointing out the absence of Barmore, Bentley, and Peppers. It led to the run stats that Belichick referenced. Anyway, okay.
Good job, Paul.
Evan's back.
Exactly.
Evan has returned from practice. Evan has returned from practice. Yeah, Evan has returned from practice. What was the mood? Who wasn't there? What did he see?
All right, we're eagerly awaiting your report.
I know, this is big stuff. Good news or bad news?
Oh, just
I'm going to go with good news first.
Good news first. Ramondre Stevenson back at Patriots practice on Thursday. Spoke to us.
But he only has one leg.
He spoke. Correct? No, totally not correct. He spoke to us earlier today. It sounded like a family, personal matter is why he didn't practice yesterday, not necessarily the injury. So he looks like he's going to be good to go again on Sunday. And the bad news, no Jalen Polk still, so he remains in concussion protocol. That one's not trending in a great direction, and no Layden Robinson still. So both those guys remain
The Robinson one is
out.
troubling.
How about Vidarian?
Vidarian Lowe was there.
Not moving great, though.
But then, just like yesterday, he was there and then was still a DNP on the injury report later in the day. So TBD on that one. But he, again, when we took attendance, he was there.
There was a few of those DNPs.
Keon White
yesterday.
Keon White also there.
He got fallen on. There was one where Gottschalk fell on him. Yeah, he fell.
Yeah, it seems like this regime are giving some more of those, he's banged up on a Wednesday kind of days to guys that are playing a lot, like a Keon White, for example, who is playing a ton, and just give him one of those days to rest whatever is ailing him.
All right. Let's see. What do we got? A little cooler today than yesterday, but still mild for this time of year.
It's a great day. It's a great day out there today. A little overcast today compared to yesterday.
Yeah.
Maybe a little smoke in there, a little haze, some forest fires going on around here.
Okay. Yeah. I did not know that.
Yeah.
But a little bit, different today than yesterday.
We haven't
but still
had
nice.
much rain.
No.
Yeah.
So you heard the coordinators this morning.
Yes.
Alex Van Pelt. Did you get a sense that this morning's meeting was a good meeting from the wide receiving core?
I think Kendrick Bourne said a lot of the right things today, and I do believe that he is trying to be a leader in that room, and he's trying to take guys under his wing, if you will. I think that right now there's just, for me personally, some of the quoting of the wide receivers, I personally feel has been unfair by my colleagues. Somebody asks Kayshon Boutte yesterday, what's your mentality on the field? And he says, I want the ball. And then that gets run with as a quote of him being a diva.
And selfish. Right?
Yeah, it's like that. It was a question about.
What about the comment that he said, the only time I get the ball is when I ask for it?
He didn't say that, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So someone just made up a quote.
No, I'm not saying it was made up, though. He said that he came to the sideline in the Texans game specifically and said something along the lines of, I can get this guy. He knows Stingley very well.
Everybody said
So you're
that.
saying he was misquoted, because that's not what he said. That's not what he's being credited as having said.
I would just say that the quote in the context of the question is important. The question.
I agree with that.
The question was, what is your mentality on the field? And his mentality as a wide receiver is that he wants the ball. If his mentality as a wide receiver was...
I got no problem with that.
Yeah, but again, I'm not in the locker room because I'm not allowed to be anymore. And
that's not true.
Yeah.
It's kind of true.
No, it isn't. If you have a camera.
It kind of is.
It's not.
They don't want us in the locker room.
With
so we're going,
cameras.
No, period.
No.
Yes.
Maybe, but that's not the rule now.
They don't want as many of us in the locker room.
Okay.
They're trying to cut back on that, so I'm trying to accommodate.
If you have something to do in the locker room, you have every right to be in there.
That's not the same as him saying, the last 2 weeks, the only time I got the ball, I had to ask for it.
And okay.
Like saying I want the ball is not the same as
not
that.
The same.
And that's what he's being credited as having said.
Right.
If he didn't say it, then that's wrong.
Right.
If he did say it, again, I'm not there, so I don't know.
Messaging.
I'm
guys
only
are
going
not
off
being
of what I'm
coached.
reading these guys writing on Twitter and stuff. So if Evan's telling you that's not what he said, then he's being misquoted. That's wrong.
Right.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he's being misquoted. I would just say that it's the context of the setup is important. Because you can pull quotes and you can pull he gives a 4-sentence answer, and then you can pull a quote of one sentence that he says in the 4-sentence answer that sounds a little spicy, and frame it in a certain way to make it look spicy. KJ Osborne, I was in that scrum yesterday too, and KJ Osborne got asked 10 different ways, do you want to be traded? It's like how many, literally rephrasing the question over and over and over and over again with the same question. Of do you want to be traded? Do you want to be here? All that kind of stuff. And he said, "I'm here right now. This is where I am. I don't."
What about the alley-oop comment? Was that
right? That's
made
an
up
alley-oop.
Too? That's an alley-oop.
No, I'm just telling.
So I will just say this: misquoted, misrepresented, whatever. The coaches obviously felt strongly enough to have a meeting about it.
Yeah.
Like we got to keep that inside. That's
internal.
what Alex Van Pelt said today. We got to keep that internal. We got to do a better job. He was asked specifically about the wide receivers for context. He was asked specifically about the wide receiver room, and he said we got to do a better job of keeping that stuff inward.
Yep.
I'm not
So
telling
they
you.
thought it was important enough to address.
I'm not telling you it's not important enough to address. I am just telling you that there's a way to do it. You know, like and these guys got to button up what they're saying. There's no doubt about that. And it's smart that the team is addressing it. I just think a lot of the things that are being said are being amplified because the team is 1-6.
Well, that's true.
And everybody is looking for
That's life.
for something to quote and for something to say. And
all the more
that's
reason
it.
for them to be careful.
Right.
You know,
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
I just
more
there's a lot of that going on.
More importantly, and we do have to hurry because picks, but how's the civil war among the media going?
Oh.
Who's winning?
I didn't know that's what we're going.
Now
civil
I'm
war.
interested.
Yeah.
We got a civil war?
Who's winning? I'm only kidding. I don't want to put you on the spot with your colleagues.
No, I mean, I don't want to.
Can we discuss this off air then?
No.
And I don't want to throw anybody under the bus. I just
too late.
I know, but it just feels. And look, we
it does
talk,
feel like people are taking sides a little bit.
We talk about it all the time that our job is slightly different than what it is when you work on the outside. But when you go into the locker room and you have a goal in mind of I'm going to talk to KJ Osborne or I'm going to talk to Kayshon Boutte, and then you're asking certain pointed questions, and the guys are answering the questions, and then we're running with it. Like, it doesn't do anybody a service, right? Like, it's not.
That's the job.
It's just not. Okay,
It's
I don't
hard.
know.
I mean,
Like,
it's hard.
Well,
I don't know how else to say it.
But
Like,
the job
it's-
used to
When
be.
the guy
It's
over
not
the
fa-
weekend has his agent come out and say he wants to get traded.
Wasn't his agent.
You ask him about getting traded.
No, I
that's
get
the
it.
job.
No, but the job used to be get those quotes and then write the story with the facts behind it and elaborate on it.
Correct.
But now it's just for clicks. Now it's just get the headline out in my tweet and I got clicks. And, fine. But it used to be there was some reporting behind those quotes. Like, what's going
I don't
on?
know.
Like, what's the,
This just gets back to my original thing. This is the way people want to do it now.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying.
Like,
That's
no
how
one
they
want-
want to
no-
do it
No
now.
one wants to report.
That's right.
And then they try to report and they get made fun of. This is what happens.
Well-
they're making it up. They're blowing it out of proportion. No, they're not.
Well,
They're not.
Yeah. I'm not
This
saying
is not good. And when the coaches are openly talking about the meetings that they're having in the morning, these are issues in the locker room.
Yeah.
They should be pounding him.
Yeah.
If this was New York, it would be way worse.
Yeah.
But there's too many here that just want to be covering the Patriots and put that on their resume.
Well, that's true, but
put it on there. To your point, that's how they're getting clicks.
Yeah.
They're on Twitter telling everybody, I cover the Patriots. See my avatar
Yeah.
with me talking to Tom Brady? Like that's the identity for half of these people.
Who could we be talking to?
Oh.
All right.
A lot of people.
So-
That's not an individual thing.
No, I know.
Like
Okay.
it's just fun to say I cover the team. Like that's not your job to have fun. It's hard.
Well,
if you're doing it right, it's hard.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be a flamethrower. Mike Reese is as good at it as anybody.
Yeah.
He's not a flamethrower.
No, he's not.
But he's covers the team.
Yeah, but I don't think he's. Well, anyway. No, listen. You got to ask the questions. You have
Yes.
to ask the questions.
And when they
Yeah.
answer them, you got to write what they say.
Yeah.
I have no problem
As much
in
as
any of
someone
that.
inside doesn't think you should.
Yeah.
I have no problem with any of that. It's a young group. These guys are clearly saying things that
they
are
need
probably not great.
They need guidance.
That's it.
They need instruction.
Right.
You can't just say everything that's on your
You
mind.
know, today everybody goes up to Javon Baker.
Mhm.
And now I'm sure that in an hour there'll be a bunch of stories about what's going on with, what he had to say
Right.
about his issues.
You have to consider my role on the team, my responsibility to my teammates, and is what I'm about to say helping us win games, or is it
Yeah.
going to hurt? Is
it serving my agenda?
Is it serving my agenda? But
I think there's been too much of that.
There's too much of that. Am I creating a distraction for my teammates? Okay, what happened last week, Paul?
All right, not. Oops, sorry. Not quite the dominance that Evan and I are accustomed to. But Alex, Evan, and Paul were all 10-5. Mike and Fred 9-6 overall. With the spread, Mike 10-5. A rare better with the spread than overall week for Mike.
There you go.
Alex and Fred 9-6, and I go back down to the basement. Well, I was a 1 week flash in the pan. Evan and Paul 7-8. So here are the standings. I maintain my lead in the overall at 67-40. Alex 66-41. Evan 65-42. Fred 63-44, and Mike 62-45.
So we're almost 60s.
With the spread, Fred and Mike are tied for the top. So Mike pulls off the rare trifecta of being in last place overall and in first place against the spread. 58-46-3. Evan 55-49-3. And then Alex and I are tied for the basement with 54-50-3 records.
Okay. All right.
But we're all making money, guys.
Yeah.
All
And
making
anything
money.
can happen. All right. So we start with tonight, Prime Video, 8:15. It's the 5-1 Vikings against the 2-4 Rams.
The Vikings by 2.5 at the Lar.
On the road.
Really? That still seems kind of a little bit low to me, but I got to go with Minnesota. I never have a good feel for them. I'm going to take Minnesota. I'll lay the points on the road.
Yeah, I'm going to take Minnesota in this game as well, and I will take them to cover to the Rams. Just a lot going on with the Rams right now.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with the Vikings.
Yeah, Alex also, she has given me her picks. Alex takes Minnesota both ways. I'm going to be with the boys. I'm going to take the Vikings. I do think the Lar has a chance to be a different team in the second half, but they might be sort of beyond that point of being able to be relevant this year. I'm going to take the Vikings on the road.
I am also going to take the Vikings both ways. Okay, we move to Sunday. There's no international game, so no early game.
We haven't had the Germany game, right?
That's coming up.
We don't, but the league does. Yeah.
No, we're not playing in Germany this year.
No.
Didn't you see the schedule?
Yeah, there is.
I mean, I know I wasn't allowed to see it when it came out, but
There is.
I would have thought by now.
There will
I
be a
would have
game.
figured it
Oh,
out.
not allowed in the
They're
locker
back in
room.
Munich
Things you're not
this
allowed
year.
to do these days, Paul.
Well, that one is actually true. I'm not allowed to see the schedule.
Yeah, they're back in Munich this year, Paul.
Munich.
Sunday at 1 on CBS, the 5-2 Ravens are at the 1-6 Browns.
Baltimore by 8.5.
Oh, boy. And who is Cleveland's quarterback?
Jameis Winston.
Jameis Winston.
Oh, I love him.
Eat those W's.
He's so funny. He cracks me
How does
up.
he do it like this?
I'm not a big fan of his.
Just the personality. He makes me laugh every
Can't
time I
do it.
see him.
Is it this?
No. That no.
I
the
thought
W?
he goes like this and then he eats it.
Yeah, he eats the W.
I'm going to take Baltimore to win. But you say 9.5? Was that what it was?
8.5.
8.5. I'm going to take the points for Cleveland, though. I think Jameis is going to throw some balls downfield and make it a little bit interesting.
Alex takes Baltimore both ways.
I do as well. Yeah, this is going to be a blowout.
I'm going to take Baltimore both ways, but I do worry about that Ravens defense. If Cleveland can somehow stay reasonably close, Nick Chubb, second game back, maybe he can run a little bit, but
you don't score points running the ball, Paul.
No, but you keep it close. I'm talking about the spread.
Okay.
But I'm gonna lay the points.
Yeah, me too. Fox, 1 o'clock, 1-5 Titans at the 5-1 Lions.
Detroit by 11.
Ooh, that's a big spread. And we got the Titans next week.
Right.
They
Correct.
could be looking ahead to us.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Overlooking the Lions. I'm going to take the Lions at home for sure. Is that too many points? I don't think it is. I'll lay the 11.
Yes, Alex agrees with Mike.
I'm going to take the Lions. The Titans' defense has actually been okay. It's their offense that's been deplorable. So I'm going to take the Lions. And I'm going to take the Titans. That's a big spread. So I'm going to take the Titans to cover.
Yeah, I'm going to take Detroit both ways. I think that offense is really clicking.
Yeah, the Sharps are really telling you something here. 11.5. Definitely take the Lions both ways here. That's what the smart money's going. And
Fred is leading in the spread.
And then look at
You
the
have
money.
to listen to it.
Then look at the money line
Can't
too.
deny it.
The money line's not as attractive.
No. Tells you all you need to know, I bet.
I don't even know what he's talking about.
I believe it, though.
Attractive money lines.
CBS 1 o'clock. The 4-3 Colts are at the 5-2 Texans.
Houston by 5. Kicking themselves after
And
kicking
screaming.
away a game last week.
Yeah.
Terrible clock management, Mike.
I'll take Houston. I'll lay the points.
Fred, I'm having a tough time this week because we really did not watch a single second of anybody else
I know.
except the Patriots. So I have no idea what happened
Yeah.
in the league. So I was kicking away the
Alex.
game.
Alex has Houston.
I don't know what that's in reference to. I have no clue. I am going to take the Texans in this game. Yeah, give me the Texans both ways. I think they take care of business.
Yeah, I'm going to take Texans, and I'll lay the points too.
Folks,
This
this
is your
where,
upset special.
This is where the feel for the league comes in. I'm tempted to take the Texans both ways, but I won't. But I will say that the Colts will cover. Remember that this is a divisional game. And these two teams, they know each other. So I'm looking at the Colts to cover that spread, and that's your underdog point spread lock of the week.
A lot of qualifiers there.
The greatest sideline coach in the modern era. 1 o'clock on Fox. It's the 5-2 Packers against the 2-5 Jaguars coming off.
Their Super Bowl.
I think the Jaguars wrote the blueprint on the Patriots last week.
Green Bay by 3.5.
3.5. I went against Green Bay last week. They made me pay. I like Green Bay's offense. I think they get on track against Jacksonville, and I will lay the points.
Alex will as well.
Go Pack, go.
So I will take the Packers, but I will take the hook. Green Bay to win, but I'll take the 3.5.
Really?
Yeah, the hook.
You have that
The
much
hook.
confidence in the Jaguars?
No, I don't think the Packers are all that.
Really?
No, I don't.
See, I've been underestimating
Their defense
them.
has been pretty good.
Yeah, I've been underestimating the Packers all season. I'm going to say I'm sorry this week, and I'm going to take the Packers both ways on the road.
There's another loss for
It's
me.
not
then.
too late.
Every time I've been on an island, I lose.
Fox at 1. The 3-4 Cardinals are at the 2-4 Dolphins.
Miami by 3.5 with Tua on track to be back.
For this game?
But
Yes.
should he play, Paul?
I really
No.
think I think it's irresponsible.
No.
And,
The
I,
league should
and I don't know
step
about you,
in.
Evan, but I will not be able to watch that in good conscience.
He's not even going to wear the Guardian
It
cap.
makes me uncomfortable.
Psycho. I'm going to take little Kyler Murray on the road. I'm going to take those points.
Taking Miami to win?
No, I'm going to take. Sorry, did you say Arizona was favored?
No, Miami's favored.
Oh, yeah, I want the points for Arizona.
Wait a minute.
So who's
Arizona
winning
win.
the game?
Arizona.
Arizona.
Miami's favored in this game?
By 3.5.
How?
They're at home and they have
They're
Tua.
at home and Tua's
Tua's
back.
back.
And Arizona stinks. I mean, there's a lot of factors involved here.
It's my upset pick of the week.
This is a tough one.
Alex takes Miami to win and Arizona to cover.
I usually like the home team with the road team is coming from the West Coast, 10 o'clock body clock.
Sure.
So that's what I'm going to go with. But I do think that the Cardinals were a little feisty last week, but I'm going to go with the Dolphins.
Both ways?
You know what? I'll take the Cardinals
Taking the
to cover.
points.
I'm going to Dolphins by a field goal.
Yeah, I think that Miami is putting a lot into this game. It's kind of do or die for them. Their quarterback is back. They need to win the game. They need to look good offensively. I'm going to lay the points. I'm going to take the Dolphins both ways.
Yeah, I'm going to take Cardinals. Road upset.
So we are all over the board on this game.
Dog upset. In
Two
this game.
Arizona's outright, two splitting down the middle, and one Miami outright.
Yeah.
A
So
lot of
I
stuff.
will take the Cardinals in this game. Their offense isn't what I thought it was going to be, but I think they get back on track this week. 1 o'clock on Fox. The 4-3 Falcons are at the 4-3 Buccaneers. Let Baker bake.
Atlanta by 2.5.
Baker
Been
bake.
baking to the other team is what he's been baking.
Yeah.
Baking
I'm gonna,
interception record is
Yeah.
what he's baking.
Yeah, I'm going to ride the roller coaster, though. I'm going to take Tampa at home. Lay the points.
You're getting points. Atlanta both ways for Alex.
Oh, you said Atlanta was favored?
Atlanta's favored by 2.5.
Oh, sorry. Thank you.
I took Atlanta last week, I believe, and
Yeah.
they did me dirty, no pun intended.
Trust them. Them in
Against-
Minnesota. It's Kirk Cousins.
So I'm going to take the Bucks at home.
So I'm going to take Atlanta. Just too many injuries for the Bucks. All those receivers. I think Baker's going to have a hard time baking.
That's true. That's a good point.
Paul is correct.
He is correct. I
Falcons
think, actually.
win
Can
this
I change
game.
my pick? I forgot about all the injuries.
Would you really like to change your pick in all
Yes.
seriousness?
Yeah.
1 o'clock on CBS, the 4-2 Eagles are at the 3-4 Bengals.
Cincinnati by 2.
Ooh, baby. It's a good
Decent game.
Good game.
Decent game on the 1 o'clock slate.
Yeah, I'm going to take Cincy. Take Cincinnati. Lay the points.
Alex will as well.
I'm going to take Philly in this game. I still just don't really feel like the Bengals are right. I don't know. Something weird about them.
Yeah,
right now.
I think both of these teams are like in that category. I have no idea what they exactly are. They look really good at times. I'm going to take the Bengals at home, but yeah.
I'm going to take the Eagles just because in this game.
Yeah, I think we know what that because is.
Yep. And now we skip over the Patriots at 1 o'clock, and it's a good time to remind everyone that it's going to be apple picking, cider, donut inhaling, cute goat petting, baby pig feeding, hayride taking kind of fall, and it's all made possible in Massachusetts. Come to where farm life is the good life. Plan your trip at visitma.com. So there you go. All right, so we skipped over the Patriots at 1 o'clock. We're moving to 4:05 on Fox. The 2-5 Saints are at the 3-3 Chargers.
The Lack by 7.
Oh, God. I got no idea on this one. This game, this is a tough pick.
The Saints are like
decimated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but
that's why the
Chargers
spread's so big.
look bad. I know. I'm going to take the Chargers, but I'm going to take those points for New Orleans.
Alex is taking the Lack both ways.
I'm going to do the same thing as Deuce. I'm going to take the Chargers, but I'm going to take the Saints to cover. The Chargers last week, I actually watched a little bit of that game, and they are not. They're kind of a disaster too.
Yeah.
So
How do you I didn't see one play of that game. This is like the danger of what Fred's talking about when you just read the box score. How do they throw for like 300 yards and not score any points?
it was just one of those games where they just keep on shooting themselves in the foot in scoring territory and just doing weird stuff. They kicked like 6 field goals.
Yeah.
I want to say 5 or 6 field goals. It was
Your
bizarre.
boy Rager fumbled at the goal line.
Yeah, Rager fumbled at the goal line.
So bad.
Yeah, like
Go
I want
Frogs.
to take the Chargers both ways, but I kind of agree with Evan and Mike. They haven't scored, so I don't like laying a touchdown. I'll take the Chargers to win, but I'll take the points.
And it was 7 even?
7.
Yeah, so the sharps are telling you something there by not giving you a hook.
It's true.
So 7 even. They're very confident that the Chargers are going to cover this game. They don't feel they need to give that half to take people off the ledge. So this is chalk.
There you go.
This is chalk. Chargers both ways. 4:05 on Fox. The 5-2 Bills are at the 4-3 Seahawks.
At 5-2. It's
I saw it. Buffalo by 3.
By 3. Something's still off to me about them. I'm going to take Seattle at home, and I'm going to give them some points there as the home dog.
Alex takes Buffalo both ways.
I can't get Seattle right. I feel like I'm wrong on them every single week. Probably going to be wrong with them again, but I'm sticking with Josh Allen. I'll go with the Bills both ways.
Yeah, I am the same with Seattle. Every time I think, they are who we thought they were, then they win a game in Atlanta like they did last week.
Blow 'em out
I'm going to take Buffalo. I don't think it'll be an easy game for them in Seattle. Tough place to play, but I will take the Bills.
Yeah, this is my Pella pick of the week. Seahawks get a.
That was very good. I might be the only one who got it, but that was good.
Seahawks get a season-defining win at home. They beat the Bills.
Did he say Capella?
Pella
windows. Closed. Get it?
Yeah.
Anderson. That was Anderson.
Would have been better if you said Anderson, lock of the week. But yeah.
No, Pella pick.
Oh,
You know,
I'm an
alliteration.
Anderson guy myself.
I was thinking of Anderson.
Just so you know, Mike rolled his eyes at you. He's too nice to do it while you're looking.
Well, I know the alliteration. That's why.
Yeah.
I would never.
Yeah,
I would never roll my eyes at you,
I would
Fred.
never.
Seahawks pull off the big one. The window has to start closing eventually, so I got to start picking against them. 4:25 CBS. The 4-2 Bears are at the 5-2 Commanders.
Chicago by 3. No Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, it's sounding like Marcus Mariota.
Which kind of stinks.
Yeah, it
you wanted
does.
to see
CBS
you wanted
is
to see
like,
the two,
oh, man.
the top two
They
picks
looked
go,
at the schedule
go
and
mano
like,
a
oh,
mano.
yeah,
I'll,
we're going to get this matchup, and then they don't get it.
I'll take Chicago. What was the score spread?
3.
I'll take Chicago.
Alex takes Washington. Both ways.
I'm going to take Chicago both ways as well. I don't have any faith in that offense without Jaden Daniels for Washington.
Yeah, and I don't know because I haven't seen much of the Bears, but I've been told, the Bears' defense has actually played pretty well. So I think going against the backup quarterback, I'll take Chicago as well.
So here's what happens in Washington.
Oh, boy.
Before the game, Jaden Daniels comes and does a team meeting, and he says, they're all saying it's because of a rookie quarterback, but I'm telling you, it ain't me, it's you. You guys are going to win this game without me. And they come and they play well, and they beat the Bears.
Oh, I got chills right there. I got chills.
It ain't me, it's you. I invented it's not you, it's me.
All right. So now we go to 425 CBS. The 1-6 Panthers are at the 4-3 Broncos. Where are they playing? At home. It's unbelievable.
Denver by
it really
9.5.
is. I mean, how the league has gotten away with this for 30 years is unbelievable.
You know what the worst thing is? It's Fred's favorite team, too, the Broncos.
Used to be.
Jeez.
I'll take Denver. I'm going to have to lay those
Oh,
points.
Bryce Young, by the way.
Yeah,
Bryce Young.
Yeah, no, I'm going to lay the points. Denver, that's a big spread.
Alex takes Denver, but she's taking the 9.5.
I'm going to do the same thing. Bryce Young has an okay game for the Panthers in this one, I think.
You heard it here first.
Nothing special, just okay.
I'm going to take Denver both ways. I just can't pick the Panthers right now.
Yeah, no. You take the Broncos to win this game, but you take those points, those
Okay.
9.5 points. That hook is the difference.
There we go.
Brings you back.
Yep.
The hook brings you back, Mike.
425 CBS, the 6-0 Chiefs, the only undefeated team left, and the 2-5 Raiders.
Kansas City by 9.5.
I'm definitely picking Kansas City. Yeah, I'm not messing with those points. I'll lay them.
Alex is Kansas City both ways.
Yeah, I got the same thing. Kansas City both ways.
Yeah, I'm going to be with you guys. KC.
Yep. Chiefs moved to 7-0.
No, division game doesn't matter anymore. Okay, moving on.
Sometimes it does.
Not when it's the Raiders.
Paul, it's
Moving
about
on.
the feel.
Moving on.
It's about the feel for the league. 8:30 on Sunday night on NBC, Telemundo and Universo.
And Peacock.
The 3-3 Cowboys are at the 3-4 49ers.
San Francisco by 4.
That's it. Surprising.
Oh boy. I don't know. Didn't like what I saw from
Your
San
boy
Fran
coaching
last
for his
week.
job.
Yeah.
Coaching for his job.
They're up against it. I'm gonna say they bounce back. I'll take San Fran. Lay the points.
Alex takes San Francisco both ways.
This is a tough one. I'm gonna.
Can Evan make a pick?
Oh, sorry. I thought. Yeah. Go ahead.
And then me?
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay.
Evan wanted me to say what I was going to do so that he could copy me.
That's so true.
That's a good point.
That's so true. I'm going to go 49ers both ways. I'm surprised that it's only 4.
Yeah, I think the Dallas defense with all those guys out. San Francisco, both ways.
No, I'm
Folks?
I'm gonna take those points, Paul.
Okay.
I'm gonna take those points.
That's why you're leading the way.
I love it when the Cowboys lose, and they will, but they're gonna cover the spread. Okay.
I'm gonna say if they cover the spread, they win outright.
Okay. It's possible. I was thinking of taking them outright.
I don't think.
Yeah,
they
it's not
will.
like
I
the
don't think that's gonna
49ers
happen.
are like on a hot streak either.
No, they've been awful.
Monday night, 8:15 ESPN, ABC, ESPN2, ESPN Plus, and ESPN Deportes.
And
It's-
Peacock. Oh wait,
No,
Not
it's
this
the.
time, no.
not this time.
I'm glad they're not doing the doubleheader. I don't like the doubleheader anymore. If you're going to do a doubleheader, start one at 7 and then the other one at 8:30. Not 9:15.
9 on a
That's remember the
streaming
old
service.
when Monday Night Football first
9
started.
o'clock.
They
Yeah.
start at 9:15. The kickoff.
9
Yeah,
o'clock.
it was
Yeah,
late.
absolutely.
It's too late.
Gotta
Too
hurry.
late.
It's too late.
Well, I just don't like it last week when they put the game on ESPN Plus. You can't click back and forth.
Right.
I knew that was coming.
Right.
No,
It's
but
true,
like
though. No,
when you have a
You go
double
there, you're
header,
stuck.
like the beauty of that is I can watch them both.
Back
Yeah.
and forth.
But now if I have to pick one of the games, if
Right.
you're going to put one on a
ridiculous.
platform,
I totally understand.
Thought this was America.
I thought this was America too, Mike.
It
All
is,
right,
that's why it's on
Pitt-
ESPN.
Pittsburgh by 6.5.
2-5 Giants at the 5-2 Steelers.
Oh.
Pittsburgh by 6.5.
Such a fun game to watch.
I'll let Russ Cook give me the Steelers.
Let's see how many moonballs Russ can throw that hit the Jets first and ended up in George Pickens' hands.
I'll take it.
That's a good player, though, George Pickens.
Pittsburgh, both ways, Mike?
Yes, please.
Alex is with Mike.
I am as well. I feel like this is a game that Daniel Jones against the Steelers defense is like deer in headlights, so I'm taking Steelers.
Daniel.
Yeah, I don't know why. I'm going to take Pittsburgh to win the game, but I'll take the points. I really have no rational explanation as to why. Just one of Fred Kirsch's feels.
Yeah,
I respect that.
I'm going to take Pittsburgh both ways in this game. All right, now we move back to Sunday at 1 on CBS. The 2-5 Jets at the 1-6 Patriots.
Jets by 7.
Jets by 7. Yeah, hard to pick the Patriots after that performance last week. I'm going to have to do it. I'm going to have to pick the Jets, unfortunately. I'll take them 30-20.
Alex picks the Jets both ways.
I'm also going to take the Jets. I think that what scares me more, honestly, is Rodgers and the offense against the Patriots defense. I think that the Patriots offense will have some moments in this game with Drake May. So it was 24-3 last time. I'm going to say 24-14 this time, Jets.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with the boys. I think there's a huge talent discrepancy here. Even if the Jets are missing a lot of those pieces that they were missing last week on defense, I think they'll have enough. And I don't like what I've seen from the defense. I think Evan's right. I think Aaron Rodgers will be able to throw it, and I think they'll be able to run it once they establish the lead. I'm going to go 27-16 Jets.
If you're Jerod Mayo, do you put a call into Robert Saleh this week and say, hey,
He actually is in an advisor role now with a different team.
Oh, is he?
So
okay, I guess he can't do that.
I can't remember off the top of my head which team it is, but
he was at Green Bay, wasn't he?
It might have been Green Bay.
San Francisco, right?
I think it's Green Bay.
But he came from San Francisco.
No, I know, but he was seen at the Green Bay practice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So 6.5, you say?
7.
7. Yeah, Patriots don't win the game, but they cover 30-24. So we come out of this game still excited about Drake May. So there you go. All right. So that's the picks. That's the show. That's the week. Catch 22 coming up.
Any minute.
Any minute now. So stay tuned for Alex and Evan. Pre-game social back to its normal time at 10:45.
Yep. Correct.
Right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
Hardy's
not.
He's not back.
He's not back this
Okay.
week. No.
All right.
We'll find someone to do it this
Okay,
weekend.
we'll find somebody. Yeah. All right.
Guys are mean.
We'll see you next Tuesday.
Thank you for downloading this podcast. Subscribe on Apple, Google Play, and everywhere else you listen. Like the show? Please rate and review us. Listener comments and ratings help keep us high in the podcast rankings so new listeners can find us. Be sure to check Patriots.com for more news and more podcasts.
The world's original podcast.